Hello everyone and welcome to the weekend of the Creator Series. It's the F2 Creator Series starting us off on a Friday night, as it will be for the rest of this season at least. And it was delightful last week at Monaco as Adam Sanderson and Dragonflies took the honours over there. And from Monaco, from one street circuit to another. And we are at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve today and of course over the course of this weekend matching what is there in real life. Maybe we'll be matching the rain too. But first, some introductions. I am Gareth Allen, very pleased to be alongside Jamie Perry today. How are you doing?
I am simply fantastic. It is looking, well, as you put it, a bit rainy. It's looking a little, let's say, depressing outside in Canada. However, the crowd has set the lap of Canada around for the drivers alight and filled it with an atmosphere that cannot be copied around any other circuit. Canada has really started to show up and show out, and right now just starting to build up, really. The rain is looking to pour quite harsh, and really potential red flags could be on the way, like we saw in Monaco on maybe one or two occasions that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this wet weather, it caused chaos last week. Someone like Dirk Chocolate, he was, in the prime position in the sprint to pick up some good points, pick up what he would call a win. Is a sprint win really a win? I mean, we only give 8 points for it. It doesn't feel like a win. But he was in a good position to pick up that win. All went to pot as soon as the wet weather came along. He gambled on dry tyres. He missed out, fell down the order, but had a decent race in the feature, actually. He's 5th position in the championship. But we could see that again today. And, it's a wet circuit, isn't it? Anyway, it's a man-made island in the St. Lawrence Seaway. Yep. It's, a track in real life. When it rains, it sticks around, it sticks close to the trees. It's difficult to dissipate. But, could we see that today again, Jamie? Could that really be the main element that we're going to be seeing in this broadcast?
I mean, it depends, really. I mean, if there is a large amount of cloud cover that blocks out the sun and stops any type of evaporation of, or at least drying of water that may be on the circuit, then it's just going to stay there. It's just going to vacate itself on the circuit without any movement, and it could stay completely drenched on the circuit itself, on the tarmac, leaving barely any traction for those wet compound tires that will try and sweep its way through using the tread embedded onto the tires. It could get quite chaotic out here, and it could even be potentially dries on qualifying. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. And as you mentioned with Adam Sanderson picking up the win in the sprint for Monaco, actually I'll give you a few more statistics on that. So he actually started P14 on the grid. And obviously there was a red flag on lap 3, which saw drivers of Patterson, Hayden Gillis, and Dragonflies all involved in incidents which brought out a significant amount of debris throughout the entirety of Monte Carlo, causing a red flag to occur. Reset the grid, brought Adam Sanderson up, made up 13 positions before he made it to the end of the race. And he had a 3-second time penalty. So 13 positions gained, 3-second time penalty, and still picked up the win. And in P5 for the championship, I believe he didn't do so well in the feature race, but he still picked up valuable points and could do the exact same here. It's clear to see from what we saw from previous seasons that Adam Sanderson has really started to pick up the pace a little bit more.
Yep, someone who's putting a bit more time into the game. Of course, he has a cult career now, alongside our very own George Morgan. So, I mean, that's not the greatest yardstick to compare yourself to, but, a very good commentator. Less so on the driving. Sorry, George. He's not watching. He's over in ESL land anyway. He's certainly someone who could impress throughout this season. And I think, decent points in both the races. Honing that rig. Also, spending a bit of time in WRC land as well. Isamusing, who's actually in chat. Hello, Isamusing. How are you doing? He was very impressed by his lines that he was taking in WRC. So maybe even if he doesn't feel like he's quite getting the pace down, subconsciously he's starting to get there, starting to hone it in, and being quite good on that front. So we are waiting for the sprint lobby, of course, to kick off. A quick explanation for the F2 for anyone that hasn't watched before. We do have a reverse championship sprint every week to kick us off. That would put someone like Only Vic, if they're racing today, Jess Games maybe in first position. I'm not quite sure the running order. Have you seen the running order, Jamie?
So I have, and I've got 2 reserves who are filling in a potential name that you've just said.
Are you right? Okay,
so,
great. Fill me in.
Vic and Dan Moran will be replaced and will have the reserve drivers of Bigod and Jack Socials making their Creator Series debut here in Formula 2.
Yeah, good to see Jack Socials on there. I'm a big fan of Jack Socials content, actually. So it will be good to have them included in the F2. Of course, a great place for, big names like Adam Sanderson, but of course, maybe smaller creators getting involved in Creator Series for the first time to be involved. So fantastic to see that. Do we have a running order, Jamie? This is how unprepared I am, by the way, guys. I've done no notes this week. I've got some notes on the wall of the track. I've got nothing else. Jamie, I'm hanging on to every thread that you're going to say today. Do we have?
I am the info, my friends. Well, we do have a running order. I am going off the championship here. Luckily, it is the reverse of it. I am going to have to replace out the reserves with who is there. But starting dead last will be Dragonfiles, as he is P1 in the championship. Let's go up from P1 downwards. So in P1, if only Vic was racing, so that's actually going to most likely be in between Bigod or Jack Socials, who will be starting for their Formula 2 Creator Series debut on pole position. That's going to be quite intriguing to see. Then it's going to be Jess Gamers in P19, B-Roy P18, Patterson, my apologies. It's going to be Jess Gamers P2, B-Roy P3, Patterson P4, Hoodie Pete P5, Zakar C P6, Hayden Gillis P7, F1 Damien P8, Dan Moran will be P9, yours sincerely P10, Pondon P11, I'm going to botch this name, Krizix in P.
Your guess is as good as mine.
11. Yeah. Luke Howick in P12. Up and Daz, sorry, in P13. Chesnoid in P14. Dirk Chocolate in P15. F1 Alex in P16. Lola Nova P17. Adam Sanderson in P18. And Dragon Files in P19. I have missed out a position, but I practically got everyone, so we will take it off. I got it off a championship, so I've tried my best with what I had.
Yeah, I threw you in it there, didn't I, basically, Jamie? So you've done a good job. And this is when we find out it's completely a different order. But I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it'll be roughly that order. I think coming from the back, with those 2 long DRS straights, it's a double dosing of DRS. If we get DRS, that is that going to be really helpful to those faster drivers at the back of the grid to carve their way through this field?
Absolutely, especially if you consider the performance we had from Dragonfiles in the feature race, and obviously not counting out Adam Sanderson, who had that fantastic sprint win as well. It's going to be intriguing, especially near the top 3 to top 5, how they'll try and make their way through the grid, and if there is going to be rain for this sprint race, it could make things completely different to what the result we could be expecting. So instead of maybe seeing Dragonfiles taking the win, making his way through the field, cutting through driver after driver, who knows, maybe Hayden Gillis has the best car control out of anyone on the circuit, able to keep it in a straight line, able to apply the throttle, oodle it to the perfect amount, make sure to keep the torque under control, RPM at a perfect limit. We don't know. Right now, we haven't seen rain this season. We're on a brand new game, F1 24, so really there's a lot of things that are still unexpected, and driver pace is still a bit unknown. Yeah,
what's also unknown is that we've actually had a handling update today. So it's been out for the last 8 hours or so I'm sure some people have had some time to practice. Some people, have a day job on a Friday, they have things to do. They're probably coming into this in a journey of unknown. I don't know how much it's affected the F2 cars. Of course, the F1 cars have been a sticky issue with how the handling has, and a lot of people appreciative of the new update, and lots of updates coming in all the time, of course, for it. But it'll be interesting to see how that handling update has changed things. Also, what will be interesting to see if there's any shenanigans from Hayden Gillis at race starts. He's the lobby host, so there's been a few issues around that. Could he pull away and take advantage? I think he will be maybe looking to do the honourable thing and actually just try and match other people's paces from the start of the sprint and the feature race. Something he maybe didn't do last week. I've played him at Monopoly a few times. He's scammed me a few times on that. So if he scams a few people on F1 and F2, who knows?
Ooh. I may have heard a rumour last night in the paddock. Obviously, there's a casino that's a part of this man-made island for Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and I believe that Hayden did go visit that casino, and there was a potential cheating scheme happening by him.
Card counting.
I don't know.
Naughty.
Yes, we saw him get kicked out.
Don't play him on Monopoly. He will scam you. That's my big advice. He's done it to me twice. One time I had the last laugh by winning. The other time he destroyed my empire. But let's not get too into that. Practice is just happening in the background. People getting into the session, and we'll be heading over to the sprint race very, very soon. Yeah, just a quick reminder. Dragonflies is the quickest. Is number 1 in the championship. Adam Sanderson second. Loninoba is third. F1 Alex. And he's been so close to winning championships and always in that playoff bracket. He's in 4th position. Dirk Chocolate in 5th position. No playoffs anymore in the F2. No. That's a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on who you're asking, really. But the playoffs has kind of changed. We're going back to a kind of more traditional Creator Series rostering system and picking who's best for F1 and F2 based on pace, etc., and all those kind of variables. But that means there's maybe less to fight for. That's maybe a good thing with driving standards, Jamie. It's not always been top tip or tip top in the Creator Series, has it?
I think instead of using playoffs, if you get people who can non-biasedly, judge a driver's pace over a season, looking at their results, looking how, they made their way through a field in maybe a certain race or two, their consistency, maybe it can get a much more even grid going into future seasons. And I believe you're probably looking at the same thing as me.
Yeah. Let's show our viewers what we are
weather,
seeing.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we are indeed seeing. It's a little bit damp out there, isn't it? let's be honest.
It's a little bit of a sprinkle at the moment. It's
well, it's going to be tough for our drivers. We get to commentate the carnage. It can be quite low grip in places, of course, because it's a lot of straight lines around here. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how people go into this setup-wise, what they're going to think about here, how much wing they dare to put on the car. Because if it dries up, it dries up into the feature race, then you're in a difficult position actually, where you will easily get overtook on the straight. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people go wing-wise. But yeah, we're not too far away from the start of this one. I guess just another 30 seconds or so before we have the formation lap, and we get to see what tyres people are on. I'm presuming wet tyres.
Oh no. They don't look very treaded to me.
Oh really? Have we got?
They don't look very treaded to me.
Right. Okay. So let's give it a little bit of context here. You were talking about this beforehand, Jamie. You were telling me that there could be an issue where drivers aren't allowed to change onto the wet tyre if it's wet during the sprint at the start.
Yep.
So this is going to be a very, very, very interesting first lap. A very interesting formation lap, whether they can make it around.
Yeah. The thing is they can't box in formation lap. I mean, there are certain aspects in real life where if you pick up damage or if you, let's say, retire, then obviously you're going to be making your way back into the pit lane. But if there is nothing wrong with the car, if there is no damage that you have sustained to the Formula 2 car or Formula 1 car for that matter, regulations stay the same in terms of formation lap, you cannot box. And it's the same here. You cannot come into the pit lane. So they will have to just sustain crawl almost, try and find whatever grip, wherever there is a dry line. And I'll tell you, there are patches on offline, but it's looking, well, damp is one way to put it. It is, not looking very fun for these drivers. And the mixture of softs and super softs being put on. The super softs for Pondin, B-Roy, Dirk Chocolate, Chesnoy Gaming, and Adam Sanderson. Obviously down in P19, he'll be wanting to make his way through the grid. But yeah, no, this is not fun. Big kicks of rear as people come through into the hairpin. And yeah, this is gonna get slightly chaotic.
How many DNFs lap one, Jamie?
How many? Red flag.
Red flag. Okay, we're gonna go red flag.
Red flag.
We've got two people disqualified. F1 Damien, Chesnoy Gaming.
Oh no.
Clearly, they've had a little bit of bump on track. They're gonna have no heat in their tyres coming up to the line. Is that gonna make a little ounce of difference? I don't think so. I doubt anyone's got heat in their tyres at the moment. But Jamie, you are going to be able to take us away on this journey and very much voyage into the unknown.
Absolutely. And one little final thing as drivers continue to crawl their way back onto the grid slots. Patterson actually got 200 plus laps of practice around Canada in mixed conditions. I don't know how many laps he decided to do on slick compound tires in the wet, but we're about to test how much practice he really did get coming into Canada because, well, this does not look fun for the first lap of racing as more people go spinning round.
Oh no, oh no.
For the second round of racing, we are nearly there, a bit more tire warming in extravagant ways. But the lights wait for the drivers. Tension in the air. Hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. 3, 4, 5 red lights. The lights go out and it's pedal. Okay, apparently not, but now it's lights go out and it's pedal to metal here in Canada for the sprint race, and it is a slippery getaway. You can already see Pondon in P2 trying to make up positions. Luke Howick's up to P3. There's already someone into the barrier. Yellow flag deployed, and now going wheel to wheel with multiple drivers. Looks like Dams going wheel to wheel with one of the HRT cars. Can't seem to get on ART, sorry. Luke Howick now down to P4 as we continue through the grid. Looks like another driver going into the barrier at the moment as we continue through. Looks like more spray kicking up on these slick compound tires. We go down in elevation. Now we can see the drivers continuing to crawl their way through the circuit. Prema now potentially looking to go down the inside, finds the braking rotation through the corner. It sends him wide onto the grass. And Prema, and specifically Hoodie Pete, now up to P3, squeezing out Luke Howick in P5. That's given Yorit an opportunity to go up to P4 now. Could he potentially find a position into the podiums? Right now, Hasselback out of it, goes into the chicane at Pont de la Concorde, and now as he continues through on the backside of the casino, on the backside of the back straight, you can see continuing to try and use the drag from the Formula 2 cars to go into the hairpin is a potential move on the table, but no, Hasselback out of it. It's better to play safe than sorry. Looks like Hayden Gillis also potentially making a move upwards, may have been Adam Sanderson as well, already up to P10 from his original position. Pondon now pushing out 1.6 seconds out ahead. Slipping all over the circuit is the Trident, and Adam Sanderson not doing so well after all. And as you can see, one by one, driver by driver, everyone will be diving into the pit lane so they can finally get some treaded tires on these Formula 2 cars. They'll be dying, absolutely desperately wanting some more grip, some traction to smooth away these wet compound tires. And right now, that leads Hayden Gillis on the soft compound tires. Instead of boxing, it's not the only driver. It looks like there's also going to be Yorit. Actually, that's something I've just realized. Nope, he's decided to switch over to wet. So it's going to be Hayden Gillis and Up and Daz, who now also takes the lead. MP Motorsport up to P1. But for some reason, they've decided to stay out on the soft compound tires, potentially looking to try and gain a higher gap. But right now, those wet compound tires will be continuing to shovel out time as continuing to tick down. Oh, everyone, literally car by car, driver by driver coming out of the pit lane. It is chaos on circuit. Another driver going slow around. Hayden Gillis back up to P1 on the soft compound tires. Right now, it's a P1, P2 battle, but the gap to P3 of Pondon is now 12.8 seconds. How quickly can he cut down that gap? Right now, it just seems to be... it's quite steady, actually, not really cutting down time in a quick manner, but now you can really start to see the seconds ticking down. Hayden and Up and Daz continuing to fight away for position, and I can only assume this may not work in their favor as much as they probably wanted it to. Hoodie Pete down to P6 as Yorit goes up to P5 in the VAR, 3.8 seconds separated. Oh, what a race start, Gareth.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I think the thing is, it's quite a short pit lane, so it's always going to be a risk to stay out on these dry tyres. We have 14 laps, okay, but such a short pit lane in terms of track time loss that it does feel like Pondon and Lolo Nobu and everyone else behind is going to be able to easily close down Hayden Gillis and you Pandas. But it is Hoodie Pete, Dragonflies and Yorit all in a battle down the backstretch towards the chicane of turn 12 and turn 13. And up the inside, I believe that is Dragonflies keeping that position. Hoodie Pete under pressure here from Be Good. And indeed, Be Good under pressure here from the man who won the sprint last time out, Adam Sanderson, as they head towards turn 1. And the Virage Complex up the inside there. Be Good doing a good move on Hoodie Pete, but Hoodie Pete's surviving it out there on the inside. But look at this, Adam Sanderson, he's going to try and get in muscle his way involved, and towards turns 3 and 4, Hoodie Pete is going to lose more positions and down to 8th position for him, unfortunately, this time.
That steering control as he went from the outside, switched to the inside, going through into turn 2 was simply fantastic to watch. Adam Sanderson up to P7 and more moves being made just up ahead. Yorick making contact with Dragon Files, who was your feature race winner at Monaco, keeps his position in P4, but could be slight front wing damage for Yorick in P5 if for VAR. Right now, Biggood still stays 3/10 behind. Deficit not really breaking ahead or behind at the moment, and right now the rain is not really breaking any type of gap or deficit. Racing really staying close with one another at the moment, but looks like Lolanova and P3 able to pull away in those podium positions, but not for very long as Pondered right on the rear diffuser couldn't seem to keep the move going through into the hairpin. Now Lolanova getting the throttle down, flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, onto the back straight at Casino Straight, and approaching into that chicane at Wall of Champions. Still a little while ago, away, and now you can see P7 to Biggood right on the rear diffuser, approaching into the trident of Adam Sanderson, doesn't decide to make a move, backs out of it, downshifts early, making sure to get through into the chicane nice and clean, scraping with the barrier as they continue onwards. Lolanova 136.557, Dragon Files with a 135.579, time ticking down like no tomorrow, and really starting to push the pace, and it was only going to take a little bit longer. Lolanova takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix here for the sprint race. Round 2, Season 7. Canada turn up to the max.
Yeah, and the question will be, how many places will Hayden Gillis lose here? I think he could easily fall out of the top 8 here. I don't think it's going to dry up quick enough for him. He's lost that first position, hemorrhaging about 8 seconds over the last couple of laps, and it's still sliding all over there. Now, Pondon and Dragonflies, they need to be super careful here to not trip over the slow and slimy Hayden Gillis, who's really slipping all over the road here. And yeah, up the inside, both of them go. And Hayden Gillis still not opting to pit. He's really just committed to this crazy strategy, and down to 4th position. Jan van Geffen is the car up next behind him, and he's surely going to go for a look up the inside into the hairpin of Litpingle, and up the inside, there we are, easy peasy. Hayden Gillis loses another position to Adam Sanderson. Adam Sanderson on the attack, and a very, very good drive out there. And now up the inside of Jan van Geffen as they head down the Casino Straight. And will he be able to maintain the outside? No, look, I just don't think he has the wing that Jan van Geffen does. He has way less wing on the car, and that has allowed him to propel him forward on the straight and really well through that final chicane. And now on the grass and takes 3rd position. That is defense to attack, a masterclass from Yorick there.
Simply fantastic car control. Adam Sanderson's not done, however, making it 2 abreast as they go into turn 1, and as he switches from the outside to the inside, squeezes off any opportunity to make a further move. And Adam Sanderson continuing to make position after position. He was your sprint race winner in Monaco. Does he want to go back to back here in Canada, where he's got a 6-second gap right now? Dragon Files to Lolanova. If he gets up to P2, he'll have to face the same gap. But as we look just a little bit ahead, Yoret currently having a fantastic battle away with Dragon Files. Slight contact to the rear diffuser, which then echoes to Adam Sanderson in P4. Biggood in P5. No current fighting taking place between them, but it seems Ponder now up to P5 as Biggood falls down to P6 on the outside line. Right now, Hasselback out of as he goes under the bridge and continuing to just fight away with the car. Braking is not easy here as you continue to spin the wheels and completely slam on the brakes, making complete uselessness of the ABS. Right now, you can see it is having an effect on a lot of drivers on the rear end of the car. Yoret just looking like he's getting a little bit slippery there on the throttle, oodling maybe just a little too little. And right now that's seeing Adam Sanderson open an opportunity as we approach into the chicane, but onto the Casino Straight, trying to use any type of slipstream and drag that could be used. Right now DRS would be deactivated as there is a lack of moves being made as we go wheel to wheel a little further back between P10 and P9. Hayden Gillis sizing up a move, but yeah, there's nothing he can do on those slick compound tires. He is practically spinning wheels with, well, water. There is nothing right now for him to try and keep traction at the moment. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't even gone spinning around. It's incredible what he's been able to achieve so far.
Yep, Jorik van Geffen there picking up a corner-cutting penalty. I'm sure it's not going to be any, actually, 4 other cars out there with corner-cutting penalties to their name. Yours sincerely with a 10-second penalty. I believe that was from around race start, contact on the race start, that left him well down the order. But Jorik, with that penalty, means that he's going to find it very, very difficult to maintain that podium position. Adam Sanderson just 2 tenths behind and looking really good in this back sector and using the grip out of turn 7 and getting past Jorik there. So now he's going to focus ahead and look at Dragonfly's second position and third position are our 2 winners from last week. They're both into the podium positions on this sprint. Can they close down Loninoba? That's going to be a tall order, 6.6 seconds. The gap has maintained that for the last few laps as well. But Dirk Chocolate, look at that, battling with Hayden Gullis, the 2 veterans of the Creator Series in this F2 race. And Dirk Chocolate got through there. I wonder if Hayden Gullis has had a bit of a mistake because he's quite far back from the back of Dirk Chocolate's car there.
Last time we saw Dirk and Patterson go into a sprint race, there was slight contact made. I believe it was out of the exit of Casino Corner, and there was a little bit of an argument in the cool-down room chat. So I'm sure if they do go battling, they'll be making sure to try and keep it a little bit cleaner and have a fantastic battle ahead of them as they go into Wall of Champions chicane, needing to be so careful on the exit. You can already see the slide from Patterson, but right now the gap staying as it is right near the front of the field. But big slides at the moment from Bigot and P6 as we go a little further back down again. Still nothing changing between P12 and P11 of Dirk Chocolate and Patterson. However, Patterson running wide, still just no real opportunity. You can't get your foot down and you end up just being at the same time, same place as other drivers, not getting an opportunity to make a move. Big slides as between P6, 7 and 5 at the moment. Pondon continuing to lead this midfield battle at the moment. But as we go a little further down, looks like Luke Howick up to P13. Zach RC with a 3-second time penalty to his name. Not what he wanted, and unfortunately, this is what's going to happen when it's rainy and completely uncontrollable weather. But right now you can see Bugard really starting to try and line up a move on the outside line. Adam Sanderson through the hairpin on the inside line, most likely getting a switchback from the outside, is now up to P2, Pondon up to P5, Bigot down to P6, F1 Damien falling down to P8, Hoodie Pete's up to P7, Pondon falls back down to P6, Bigot now up to P5, Adam Sanders going to keep the momentum he got out of the hairpin to push him up to P2, multiple moves being made in the single sector of racing around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and as we cross for lap 9 of 14, Loninoba still leads away by 7.2 seconds of racing, and it will not be helped by the fact that Dragonfly, your feature race winner, sending it down the inside, and he started dead last on the grid, still already up to P2, making momentous progress in immediate effect. And now Dragonfly, as he goes back down in elevation, needing to defend even further against Adam Sanderson.
Yeah, these two know they're not going to be able to close the gap to the car in front, so they are going for a bit of a ding-dong battle out there. Jorik will hope that they don't slow down too much because look behind him, he's only got a 3.8 second gap with 3-second time penalty to his name, so he could be losing that position. Pondon, Hoodie Pete, F1 Damien, they're not too far behind either, so really he wants Dragonflies and Adam Sanderson to get on with it, get down the road, so he doesn't get caught up in their battle with that 3-second time penalty, or he hopes the converse, that actually these two maybe push each other so hard that they pick up penalties themselves and he can go get muck in and get involved with that battle. But yeah, Loninoba, he's got a 6.7 second gap now. He can manage that lap by lap. Lose a second lap, he's still going to be fine. So I don't think without a big mistake from him, he's going to be losing any positions. But look at this skirmish coming out of the hairpin and onto the Casino Straight. F1 Damien, Hoodie Pete, F1 Alex, they're all involved here. Hoodie Pete, the far inside of F1 Damien. And the reserve here is going to be under pressure as they go towards the final chicane, but Hoodie Pete just backing out of that one, but he didn't want to back out too much because his premier teammate of F1 Alex is only just behind, and yeah, look at that backing out, caused him to go over the curbs. That little bit of concentration lapse has cost him there because he's now got a 3-second penalty to his name.
Absolutely. Prema causing too much tension between themselves, allowed F1 Damien a little bit more breathing room and also approaching up to Pondon. Adam Sanderson with a 3-second time penalty to his name. That's going to be detrimental to his finishing position, at least right now, ahead of Jorik. also have to consider that in P4, he also has picked up a 3-second time penalty, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is absolutely correct on that side. But now refuses an opportunity potentially to make a move against Dragonfiles in P2. Right now, Adam Sanderson, as I have mentioned on a few occasions now, has picked up that win in Monaco at the sprint race, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to happen on this occasion. Firstly, because Lolanova has pulled away like no tomorrow, 7 seconds on the dot right now. Dragonfiles needing to defend against Adam Sanderson, and Adam Sanderson continuing to launch attack after attack. He doesn't want a championship rival at the moment, a championship contender, any further opportunity at potentially scoring more points than him. And right now, as we go on to Casino Straight, is he potentially going to send down a move? He does look towards it, breaks early, downshifting to what was necessary towards it. Fantastic car control, and out of the exit of Wall of Champions, it's wheel to wheel. As we go onto the timing line, Adam Sanderson back up to P3. It's still wheel to wheel between the two drivers. As we go through, still two abreast, not breaking anything, a little bit of contact between the two drivers, but now getting the throttle down. Adam Sanderson up to P2. Dragonfiles has no other choice but to back out of it. And what fantastic racing on display here in the sprint race.
Yeah, well, Dragonfly's actually, he's got 2 warnings to his name, so he just needs to sit behind Adam Sanderson and cruise here, because if he gets involved with this battle, it's there's a very realistic opportunity that he'll be taking a little bit of curb somewhere and getting himself that warning that would give him the penalty and would lose him that position for good. So at the moment, he's lost track position, but he's actually still got the position if he gets to the end without that warning. We see Yaman Gapping running wide again out there. He's on 4 warnings. Be good in 5th position. He's just under 3 seconds away from Yoet. He's only got 1 warning. And out front, I tell you what, Lononoba, he's been sensational. No warnings, just controlling the pace, setting fastest laps, really enjoying the circuit for what it is. But Pondon and Hoodie Pete battling here around this hairpin. Oh, Pondon even getting into F1 Alex a little bit there, and F1 Alex is going to look to try and take him down the straight again here. They're going to get into a battle and all over the place. Look at this, he's just looking to the left, looking to the right, trying to put that pressure on Pondon here, but Pondon is going to be wise to it, really just showing him the inside there and tightening that line. And now Pondon will ride through those curves, but look at that, taking a little bit too much curb, and that has given him a 3-second penalty, and that has put him in a position where he is now racing on merit, on pace with all of the cars around him. Look, half of our grid have 3-second penalties.
Very late braking by F1 Alex. That does launch him into P8, but it did look like Pondon had to take diving action out of the way to avoid any type of contact being made. Zach RC with a 3-second time penalty now towards his name as he continues to fall down position after position, currently in P15. 5/10 off Chesnoid Gaming, but we haven't seen a whole lot of action between them two at the moment. Right now we can see F1 Alex and Hoodie Pete, the 2 Prema drivers in P8 and P7, but right now doesn't seem to be any real movement throughout the field. Just settling down a little bit, but let's not get mistaken. Gaps are still close throughout the field, especially between Dragonfiles and Adam Sanderson. As the point you mentioned before, he's on 2 warnings. All he needs to do is cruise. Avoid the white line, just keep it in a straight, orderly manner, and you will pick up P2 simply because of Adam Sanderson having that 3-second time penalty. And another one strikes down as well. B-Roy in P20 with another 3-second time penalty to his name. Fantastic battling near the hairpin here. Have a look now. Prem is really starting to close in on the gap at the moment. P7 and 8 really starting to show what they can do when they have the slipstream and drag in their favor. Closing, and gone for position. F1 Alex up to P7, braking, downshifting early because the rain clearly not giving you the traction that you would get on dry conditions, on slick compound tires. Not the warmth, not the grip, not the traction, simply the same thing. But it is not helping anyone's favor at the moment, and as the saying goes, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, it really is pouring out there. Full wet tyres, of course. Slippery conditions at the start when they all start on slicks, but Lononoba really rose above all of that carnage and has just kept it consistent. Other people keeping it consistent out on track out there is Dirk Chocolate. He's been a very good boy. No warnings to his name, but look, he's way down the order. Really, he should be pushing the envelope a little bit more to try and close down the pack ahead. I mean, he will be getting the likes of Patterson and that place off U-Pandas, but I don't think he's going to be able to squeeze into the points from there, and the man who's fifth in the championship maybe falling down the order as they head into the feature race. Now, what Adam Sanderson needs to do here is he probably needs to let Dragonflies go back by, and he needs to put a load of pressure on him, try and force him to make a mistake here, because Adam Sanderson does not have the pace to disappear down the road, but he does maybe have it within him to kind of hassle Dragonflies and make him make a mistake. That's the only way he can maintain that second position. I think third position definitely is going to be his, but we'll see if that happens. Pondon in a battle for ninth position, just hanging on to it. U-Panda's all over the back of Pondon, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a bit of overtake here. I actually didn't know whether to go left or right, almost lost it completely out there. And actually, here comes Patterson. With 6 seconds to his name, he's going to take the positions. He won't be taking anything. Well, actually, maybe off U-Pandas, because he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties now. But look at that. Dirk Chocolate isn't too far behind. He'll be picking up those places. Remember, points only down to 8th position here in this sprint race in the F2 Creator Series.
Right now, it does seem to be quite a tussle for position, and looks like Patterson really kicking out that rear out of the exit of turn 2. A big kick out of the rear for what I believe is now B-Roy, who's actually been blue flagged. I could be completely wrong on that, but I am seeing blue flags pop up on the circuit. Yellow flag deployed, however. Is that B-Roy who made that mistake? I am unsure, but right now I am well aware that racing is continuing. Zach RC actually spinning round at the moment, but let's continue with the fight that we saw just before. It looks like Luke Howick also coming into the pit lane for Supersofts, and I actually see the point. This is something I was going to bring up just before. The track is drying. Rain is no longer now visible on the circuit. Rain is no longer pouring, and right now it actually looks like more than anything else, it's dry on circuit. The tarmac has completely dried out, and those wet compound tires, in comparison to the softs, well, won't have the grip as we saw just before. However, with only a single lap remaining after the finishing lap 13, the penultimate lap of racing, then it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, we just don't have the laps remaining. Either way, Dragonfiles in P3, 3/10 off Adam Sanderson, and Adam clearly not listening into the broadcast and taking the fantastic advice of Gareth Allen, because right now staying in P2, and big kick out of the rear there. Be good with a 1:35.02 on those wet compound tires. So clearly some big times being found, and Patterson as well, obviously referring back to that move he made through the Wall of Champions chicane. Obviously those 200 plus laps of practice coming towards something, and Dirk Chocolate up to P10, Mr. Consistency here in the sprint race.
Yeah, only half a lap of racing less, and it's been Lolanoba who's been just sublime all the way throughout. He is under no pressure here. In fact, he has no warnings to his name. There's no chance that he's going to be losing this one unless he has an almighty collision, Kubica style, into the big hairpin at the end here. But look at that, Adam Sanderson really overheating those wet tyres, and that could give Dragonflies the opportunity to run through, but he knows he just needs to sit behind, ride it out like Lewis Hamilton rid out that penalty. But look at that, really slowing down the apex speed there, Adam Sanderson, and just trying to draw Dragonflies into any kind of mistake. It is not going to happen, and I think this is going to be the podium that Dragonflies is going to pick up that second position. He is going to look for the move, but I just don't think he's going to take it.
Well, for one driver, and one driver alone, on lap 14 of 14, the checkered flag waves. And here in the sprint race with no penalties to his name, consistency throughout it all, a 6.3 second gap, and Dragonfiles finally picking up that penalty position from Adam Sanderson, who now falls down to P3. Lolanoba takes the win here for the sprint race. Canadian sprint race specifically, and Formula 2 had simply shown what action can be put on display when water hits the circuit. A single lap on full softs, if that was super softs or soft slick compound tires for everyone on the grid, as they did not have the accessibility for those slick, for the treaded tires, and it just caused a little bit more chaos and a complete change in position, which saw Adam Sanderson, Dragonfiles, take full advantage of it. Obviously, Dragonfiles starting dead last. Adam Sanderson would join him, I believe, 5 positions higher, but that would have still been a high challenge for both of them. Yours sincerely with a 10-second time penalty for not serving his penalty in the first place. So down to P17 goes Yours sincerely, and Jess Gamer will finish down in P18 with B-Roy and Hayden Gillis, both DNFing and disqualifying themselves here in the sprint race. What a fantastic start to racing and performance all over the circuit and the grid here in Canada.
Yeah, very interesting race. Very interesting opening lap there. You were handed a short straw trying to commentate and piece through all that because it was ice skating out there. All the drivers, of course, forced onto those softs, no fault of their own, and they did actually quite well. I don't think we had any DNFs before the final few laps there, so they all made it around, certainly in those first few laps, and even though some of them did absolutely spear into the wall, but it was Lolanoba who took that victory for the Dams team, and he's going to be very, very happy with that one. 8 points to his name. He was third in the championship coming into this one, would have closed down the gap to P1 in the championship, indeed there, so that's very good from him. Let's go through and just have a quick recap of all of the scores here. Indeed, it was Lolanoba in first position, Dragonflies in second. Ignore all the points on the right because we went on different points now. Third is Adam Sanderson. Fourth is Be Good, picking up that position after Jan van Geff into the penalty was applied. That dropped into fifth position. F1 Damien, F1 Alex, Hoodie Pete round out the points positions. It was Dirk Chocolate, who narrowly missed out, only 2 seconds there, kept it clean, but wasn't fast enough to pick up a point in that sprint race. Pondon was in 10th position. Patterson, 9 seconds of penalties for him. That dropped him down. You Pandas, he was threatening at the top at one point, but he ended up cascading down the order. Chesnoid Gaming in 13th, Luke Howick in 14th, and I'm sorry about the rest of you, but I may have missed you. So that's that.
I need to get my live telemetry up so I can give you a live weather forecast update, like we saw for that race, because my god, that was simply chaos on display. That first lap of racing with everyone on slick compound tires, if it was softs or super softs as the dry tire allocation is set, it was not easy for any of those drivers. And the car control we saw from some of them, and specifically, as we mentioned, Adam Sanderson has been doing a lot of WRC racing and competitive driving over in there, and maybe learning a thing or two in terms of car control. And so when it came to the rain on slick compound tires around Canada, he had no problems just controlling the car, maybe not being faster than any other driver, but just being able to be more stable than other drivers. That kept him continuing to gain position after position, which got him P3 at the very end.
Yep, absolutely. So next up is going to be the one-shot qualifying. We'll have a brief pause while we get into that lobby and everything happening there. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Adam Sanderson has been used to some loose grip surfaces, let's say that. So maybe that definitely helped him in the... That as a sentence doesn't work. Maybe that did help him with his pace there in that race. And it was interesting. Dragonflies, Adam Sanderson, Lolanoba, all in the top 3 on the podium, and they are top 3 in the championship. So could we have the early kind of pace, the early indications of what is going to be our championship battle straight away here in today's races? Next up is going to be one-shot qualifying and then the feature race. And it'll be fantastic to see what kind of pace can be transferred over, what kind of conditions we will see. Will we see more dry conditions as we saw towards the end of that session, or is it going to be wet throughout? We'll have to see it very, very shortly. But absolutely fantastic battling there in the F2, especially the Premier guys, both F1 Alex and Hoodie Pete really had a good ding-dong battle with some people like Pondon out there and Patterson, and that was really, really fascinating to follow.
It was. How do I sum it up into a word? It was a culmination of so many different words that you couldn't put it into a single word. It is Canada in rain, in slick, and then switching to treads, and then you still had Hayden Gillis, and then you still had, what was it, Upper Nads, and I need to get the actual name correct, but
Pandas? Is it you Pandas?
Pandas.
I'm guessing you Pandas. Your guess is as good as mine.
Up and Daz.
Up and Daz.
We don't know. We'll have to.
I think the only way to find out is by going to his Twitch and seeing if he has a panda as an icon. Because if he doesn't,
there you go.
Then he's missing a trick if he is meant to be you Pandas. In chat, is it you Pandas or is it Up Anders? Let us know, because neither of us know.
Yep.
Let's face it.
Clueless. But yeah, no, it was a culmination of so many different words and emotions that you couldn't really summon up into something. But in one word, if you were to force me to say something, it was chaos. It was extravagance but not in a good way. It was simply everything combined into one. It was, yeah, something special, that's for sure. And to see slick compound driving on that first lap was, well, I mean, it completely changed the grid order. From what we saw, obviously, it's reverse of what the championship is set to. So, for example, if you have P1 set to, you know, the one and only P1 position set, I'm definitely not going to it, of Dragon Files, and, you know, he starts now P20 dead last because he leads the championship. You know, simply because of the rain that may be taking place, and simply because you're on these slick compound tires. So if you're able to just keep your car in a straight line, then you'll get the advantage above any other driver. And like I mentioned before, it's about car control. It's just about trying to keep it in a straight line, because then you get the just overall advantage in the beginning. Then you switch to the treaded tires on the wets. Then you continue to try and keep your consistency, keep your pace throughout the rest of the race, and you will find position after position just by keeping consistency. Especially if you finish lower down, then you find yourself actually in a really nice position from where you originally started.
Yep, Chaz and Dave in chat has said it's Defo U Pandas because he has a panda logo. So
well, there you go.
That's the only... If you're ever guessing whether someone is called Panda or not, you just have to work out whether they're called a panda. He's also not called Chaz and Dave, the guy I just called out, but I think I'm funny, so I'm going to call him Chaz and Dave. So, yeah, fantastic. Well, at least we have his pronunciation nailed down. It's just the other 15 that we're going to struggle with all race now. So,
actually, you know what? I've got a question for you, real quick. Sorry for interrupting. But pandas, right? They're like a type of bear. At least some people would call them a type of bear, right? Some people, because as an Australian, I feel like I don't know what people around the world may consider them. Yes, WA, Perth, born and raised. Shout out to Ben. We had a conversation, well, a very, very light conversation of McDonald's and their ice cream machines and if they work in Australia. Clearly,
they don't work anyway. I don't think.
Anyway, as an Australian, currently 3:16 in the morning. So hello, the other Perthies. Do you consider koalas a koala bear?
I mean, I would say they're a bear, yeah? It's a koala bear. So, yeah, as someone who's deeply British, yes, but kangaroos are also bears. Come at me. What? So koalas aren't bears. Is this what you're saying?
No.
Are they like cats?
No, they're not bears.
What are they?
You don't call them... Okay, so they're not koala bears. No? They are just koalas. They're not bears.
They're not bears.
It's like drop bears.
Is it like a koala bear though? Drop bears? What's a drop bear?
Oh, you don't know drop. So imagine a koala.
I'm an old man. Look at my hairline. Yeah, okay. Remember this.
Imagine a cute, cuddly koala, right?
Yep.
But then make it super aggressive, and when you walk past a tree, if it's right above you, they'll just drop on your face and
what do
injure
they do?
You very badly.
They drop it like it's hot. Do they?
They drop it like it's hot.
Okay, a drop bear. That's interesting. That sounds like some kind of ninja koala.
It's mythical. It's not actually a thing that koalas do, but it's just because everyone sees Australia with all these deadly animals, so we just decided, oh yeah, we have drop bears too. You know those koalas, those cute cuddly koalas?
They're not real.
Yeah.
They're mythical.
No, they're not real. Yes, they're mythical. But there's a lot of, specifically, I'm pointing more towards the American side of, you know, the demographic, do believe that koala bears are real.
I don't know. They're bears, right?
Drop bears.
They're bears.
Sorry.
Koala, you're calling them koala bears, so they are bears.
No.
So you're telling me a kangaroo isn't a bear?
No, it isn't.
They look like a bear to me.
How in any way does that look like a bear?
It's either a bear or a cat. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a crossover. Maybe that's how they were born. Is that how they were born? Let us know in chat if you think a koala bear is, in fact, a kangaroo.
What? I'm only saying koala bear because other people call them koala bears, but they're just koalas.
What's an Australian animal that I may not know?
Ooh.
Don't give me some, like, really weird variant of spider, because we have spiders over here. They just don't sting you.
You should know the wombat, right?
The Wombats, yeah, they do a great song. Let's Dance to Joy Division, that band.
Okay, well, I mean, at least you know it. You know it in some context. It's better than not knowing it at all.
Yeah, a wombat.
Surely you know the platypus.
Yeah, I've heard of these things. If someone's put one in front of me, said, "Oh, this is a platypus," I'd go,
"Yes."
I now know what a platypus looks like. They're like a seal,
Right.
aren't they? No? Yeah, that's what I imagine they are like.
They are aquatic, but they look nothing like a seal.
They look nothing like a seal.
You know what? A platypus is like if you got a duck, a geese,
Right.
and a beaver and mixed them together.
Googling platypus. Platypus animal.
It's a duck,
Oh,
geese,
look
and
at
beaver
that.
together.
Oh, I feel like I
Yeah.
have seen one of these in the Natural History Museum. But then they also have dinosaurs in the Natural History Museum. There we are, everyone. I googled it.
Yeah.
It does look strange. Yeah, I think I've seen one of those. Wombats, I think I know of. They're bears as well, aren't they? Basically, like everything else over there. So, do you live near any of these dangerous animals? You have many in Perth. Is it Perth you said you were from?
Yes, Perth. Yeah.
Just grill Jamie, by the way. Now, chat.
I'm
Hope you enjoy.
not far. I'm not far from it. I'm not close. Like I have to physically go to somewhere to see them. Like if I was where I was, the only things I'm maybe gonna see is a few redback spiders in my backyard. But apart from that, probably not much.
Few redback spiders. Do they literally have a red back?
Oh, do you know Black Widows?
I know the song Black Widow by Iggy Azalea. Yep.
Okay. Redback spiders are spiders with little red tips on their backs, as you would expect, and the females are venomous, but the males aren't, and they both hurt very much.
Okay, interesting. Right, well, we all know
Australian
less or
knowledge.
more about Australia now. I feel like I've certainly learnt something. But we are getting closer back to the feature race action. It's actually going to be one-shot qualifying that we'll dive into, which is always fun to see who's going to do well here. Who you going to put your money on, Jamie?
What, for the feature race win or for OSQ?
For OSQ. Let's do OSQ first.
For OSQ. Right, well, OSQ, I don't actually know who took pole position. I'm going to be honest, for Monaco specifically I'm talking about.
It was one of the creators. I can narrow it down for you.
Oof, that is... We're narrowing it down now. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a roll of the dice. We're going to go completely random. I'm going to say someone's going to shunt it. All of a sudden, this big amount of pace. Someone's got a perfect exit out of the exit of turn 4, maybe turn 5. As they go downhill towards, they get a perfect amount of throttle, oodle it, and just apply it to the perfect amount. I think it's going to be Zach RC.
That's interesting. Zach RC is going to be the man who's going to get what, DNF, or he's going to pole it?
Roll of the dice,
Okay.
Zach RC.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to guess here. Dirk Chocolate is going to get a top 5 in the one-shot qualifying, because he has been bigging himself up. He's saying, "I'm feeling confident today. I'm going to do well." He feels annoyed that he didn't do well in the sprint race last time out, but he did get, I think, 14 points in the feature race, which I believe is 6th position. So, of course, we don't run the standard point system. I'll show you the point system in a little bit. I've got a graphic for it. Yes, he got 14 points, which I believe is 6th position. So, he is he's someone who could just have a decent year, maybe get into the top 6 of the championship by just scavenging a few results out there. And he was quietly confident about his pace when I was talking to him beforehand. So let's see. I like to put all of my pressure on Dirk, so when he fails me, I can be really disappointed with him. He likes that, I'm sure. He likes that. Who wouldn't like that?
I feel like... Oh no, the rain's back.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be dry. This is a bit wet,
Oh,
isn't it?
no.
Yes.
Yeah, it's back to exactly how it was in the sprint race, and my only assumption, I'm hoping they're on the treaded tyres. But they might be on the slicks.
If they're on the slicks, then this is going to be a very interesting session. The roll of the dice is not just for Zach RC, it's for all 20 of them in that case.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could get very interesting, and we are only 5 seconds away from seeing who will take pole position here in OSQ, here for the feature race. It's a good getaway so far, but yes, it is slick compound tyres for everyone on the circuit. Oh, dearie me. This is going to get very interesting. Hayden Gillis up to P1.
He's
now
not
it's
up to
gonna be
P1. He's
Luke
cutting the
Anders
corner.
up to oh, that's why. He was P1. For momentarily he was. And now we can see Dragon Files, who was our feature race winner, actually in Monaco, now up to P3. He's really struggling to find the grip, sliding across, applying that throttle, almost smashing the pedal to try and get the wheel spin necessary. Too much smashing. He did too much, and it's caused them down to P7 now. And it looks like you Pandas may actually have the highest advantage out of all of it. Lolanova in P2 still showing their consistency. Right now, it is a battle between New Pandas and Lolanova, in between both what looks to be Dams Racing and MP Motorsport. But right now, it looks like New Pandas just able to make the most of it out of the corners, potentially just ticking up the downforce by very minimal amounts. You can barely do anything to these Formula 2 cars, being a spec series. But it does look like you Pandas might just have slightly more car control as he gets the car, making sure to be as stable as possible. Avoid any type of car kick or any type of wheel spin occurring onto the MP Motorsport. They get onto Casino straight, and you Pandas still has P1 in his favor. Flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, all the way into the Wall of Champions chicane. And this is the final opportunity where we could potentially see a change of position. Adam Sanderson up to P2. Dragonfast now down all the way to P4. Luke Howick snuck into P3. You Pandas does take pole position with a 39.740 and significant changes in terms of deficit from P2 below. Adam Sanderson, the closest time to P1 is a 41.968. Luke Howick a 42.590, and it continues to tick down from there. And my guess of Zach RC finishing down in, what, P13? I'd say I was close enough.
I said Dirt Chocolate in the top 5. He got P11. And if anyone is at all clued up like maths, like Rishi Sunak is, that is definitely a top 5 in my books. But you Panthers was in the lead there. 2.2 seconds. That is ludicrous amount of time there. I think the big shock throughout all of that is Lolanova was right on the back of you Pandas. But look where he ended up. 20th. He's
oh no.
Do you know he's driving for Dams, and I bet he's there like Dams. That was a bad qualifying session. Sorry guys. Apologies.
That sir was as good as a pun as what maybe Boris Johnson did.
But yeah, right, you Pandas was sublime there. Right, absolutely sublime, and showing some of the pace that he could have shown in the sprint race if he didn't have his issues. So yeah, of course, just managing that condition, just braver on it, and maybe someone who's running a bit of traction control, which may have helped them in those conditions. We're not sure. We're open to all assists. Someone in chat asked, "Is there no F1 race today?" Where have you been? This is the F2 Creator Series. And we are here on Fridays.
I think we should update them on times and days.
Yes.
Formula 2 is Friday alone now. There is no Formula 1 on Friday, and Formula 1 will follow us on Saturday, tomorrow. But here today on Friday, technically Saturday today for me, it is Formula 2 from 2:30 in the morning for me to 4:30 in the morning. I cannot remember what it is in British time, but I'm sure you can do that, Gareth.
7:30 till 9:30 at the F2, and then the F1 races 6 till 9, and then we also, well, it's actually 5 till 9 this weekend because we're moving it a little bit forward so we avoid the qualifying. We also have WRC at 7:30s on Mondays as well. So a whole weekend of enjoyment if you class Monday as the weekend, which it definitely isn't. You can follow our socials above there to find out what we are on. And are the drivers going to be on slick tyres at the start again? I think they are, Jamie. I think they are.
Oh, no. Well, this is going to get interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where the tension builds. Because as much it is fun and games, seeing the rain continue to pour, and I'm sure the drivers in angst and a bit more disappointment as they have to once again battle away on a single lap on these slick compound tyres, this is also where points are given. At least majority of the points in terms of the championship is given. And now you Pandas has the largest opportunity of his entire, of his entire career so far in Season 7 specifically. But he's got a very competitive, very fast, a very confident and motivated Adam Sanderson in the Trident in P2. Luke Howick on what I can only assume is not the replacement. I'm thinking of someone else. In P3, in Dams Racing. Another driver who will be looking to try and seize at an opportunity on the super soft tires. To be honest, I don't know if air pressure on the different compounds is going to change much in these conditions, because I believe when you have zero tread and a lot of wheel spin, in slippery conditions, I think the outcome is the exact same. However, positions can change in a mere few seconds of racing. Those lights can go out, we could get a red flag. Those lights could go out, and we could see P20 become P5. Safety cars could deploy. Red flags could deploy. Significant tire warmings for some of these drivers. Look at F1 Alex in P5, absolutely skirting it around the circuit.
Yeah.
It is you, Pandas, who leads us in
it?
P1.
He's really wiggling it, and he's maybe got a bit too deep there into the corner. Cuts over the chicane, but yeah, luckily he could just line up into his slots. I really just don't think they're going to be able to body those tyres up enough in these wet conditions. That's the problem.
I doubt.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see here. Last time we had Yorson Silly off into the wall in the sprint race. How many DNFs are we going to have this time out? I don't know. Look, some people are taking this very literally. I think that's Lolanoba. No, someone's right at the back there. They need a little slap on the bottom for that, because they are way behind. Look, who is this? Is this Hayden Gullis? It is. Of course, it's Hayden Gullis. Slowing things down. Doing a formation lap.
He's giving us more talk time.
Who is this? Jack Socials? Who's the other? I want to find the other one. Is it? I want to name and shame them on the broadcast.
It is a yellow Red Bull.
It's Zach RC.
Zach RC. Oh my god.
Naughty. There's the roll of the dice.
What have I started?
But yes, there we are. The feature race is going to kick off. Jamie, over to you. You can call this carnage.
Carnage of a race. Indeed it is. We had to hold our breath last time round. Imagine how the drivers are feeling. Simply carnage ahead of us. And who will end up on top here in Creator Series, here for round 2, season 7 in Canada. Rain continuing to pour away. But the crowd is excited. An uproar of cheers. An uproar of excitement throughout the entire atmosphere of Canada, and I'm sorry, but
how long are we holding
happening.
For? Hey, Jamie, you got to keep on going. You just got to keep on trying to build the atmosphere. You'll be going out to try. This
Patterson said he could get 200 plus laps of practice.
just to sit still.
Aiden Gillis said in the paddock that the car didn't feel too great for Canada, but we've had a patch update, so potentially major changes to how his confidence may be feeling. He is down in P18. He's got one hell of a way to go, and I can build tension all day, but how long do we have to wait?
Do you know the meme where it's everything is fine and there's a dog in a burning building?
Yes.
That's just go on Google, everyone, search up that. That's what's going on here. I do agree with the people in chat. This is probably going to be a restart. You Pandas has indeed left the session. But do you know who I'm going to blame this on? Hayden Gullis for that very slow outlap. That very slow formation lap. That's caused all of the issues. Yeah, I absolutely... some people in chat are saying we should do formation laps. This is the Creator Series, right? Every moment out here is a bit of content, and we can't pass up the formation lap just because sometimes there's a few issues in it. We want to create that content, but sometimes it does go terribly wrong like this, and we are just we're staring into the abyss. But I did very much love hearing you, Jamie, for about a minute trying to build tension. It's like something out of Formula E.
I'm just sat there like, and you Pandas starting on P1. He has one hell of a race ahead of him. Needing to defend against some really hungry, competitive and confident. It's just over. Oh no.
Yeah, Session has been
we've actually had an announcement from the circuit. Everyone has evacuated their cars for an emergency cup of tea.
One of the lights hasn't come up on the starting sequence. Oh, they're all up now. There we are.
Oh, there we go.
This isn't the real feature race start, just so everyone knows.
This is the AI race start. So this is how AIs would handle this. Oh, red flag. There you go.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Oh.
We weren't seeing that kind of red flag earlier. That's beautiful. That's what we want to see. The red flag come out. And the longest delay on the... I mean, imagine how cold their tyres would be now with the pouring rain and these slick tyres on. But yeah, fantastic stuff.
Every driver's going to get a towel now.
We'll head back over. Do you know what people haven't had enough of? They haven't had enough of our faces, as that is the slowest transition in the world. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But look at that. We're back. We can talk about whatever we want again while we migrate host and we join a different session here. But we'll have to wait that one out for a few more moments. If you've got any questions in chat for us, we'd be grateful for them, because we are now well and truly filling time. We've already chatted about the different Australian animals that are out there, like koala bears and kangaroo bears. We've already had those epic conversations. Jamie confirming to me that kangaroos are in fact bears. I think that's what the chat was. Yeah.
Don't look at me in the camera, sir. I did not say that. Don't miss my words.
Pondered asking, who is the best driver starting with P? That's a very good question. Let me just look up and down here. Patterson. Patterson's very good. I like Patterson.
Hang on a minute. Hang on 1 second. I believe he wants to do last names first and then, first names second. And that's Perry.
Oh,
right here.
Really? Do you actually rate yourself as a driver? Do you think you could rinse any of the creators?
Not on Formula 1.
Not on Formula 1? What would you rinse?
No. GT3, GT4, LMDH, GTP, LMP2.
Is that Roblox?
Stuff like that.
That sounds like Roblox to me.
Okay, it's endurance racing.
I'm joking.
Don't. Ooh, sir.
This man had stayed up for 24 hours last weekend to watch the Nürburgring, the Nürburgring 24 hour.
And it was 7.5.
24 hour, wasn't it? The Nürburgring 24 hour. How many hours of racing did they do?
7.5 hours.
7.5 hours. And was it a worthwhile experience? Did you enjoy your caffeinated beverage?
You know what? It was still a very entertaining stream for the 7.5 hours that we did have a race going on. It was actually really fantastic to watch it. Fantastic racing on display, as it always is when you have 200 plus cars on a grid going racing with one another. Some large retirements from the number 99 Rover Racing, and obviously supporting the boys of Grello Manti Racing, Manti EMA, which will also be competing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which I will also be watching, which I hope is a 24-hour race, but normally France doesn't have fog problems.
Did you say Rover Racing, like ROVER? Is that the people behind the Rover 75?
So, I'll be honest, I normally say it like row racing, because it's ROWE.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But every single time I kept hearing, commentators and drivers saying it like Rover Racing. So I'm thinking the W is pronounced V.
Do you know what? When I hear Rover, I get very excited. I think of Rover Metros. I think of Rover 75s. Nice. These cars are terrible. And I get a lot of, let's say, flack from some of the creators over some of my likes in car choices. Jamie, what do you think of the Renault Espace? Do you like the Renault Espace?
Oh, the Renault Espace. You know what? I'll tell you about my hobbies, my free time. So what I like to do, because I am becoming a pre-apprentice at TAFE, which is like a trade college, you could say.
Okay.
To become a light diesel car mechanic.
Right.
But obviously, before I get to that, I need a lot of background knowledge in engineering and mechanics and stuff. And for the past 2 years, I've been really pushing to do so. So whenever it comes to cars and speaking about the topic of just general cars as a topic, I always like talking about the mechanics of it, the ICEs, the overall ingenuity behind it. It's why Porsche is one of my favorite brands and manufacturers to exist, because their ingenuity is not like any other brand to exist. But the Renault Espace, it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy.
It's a little heavy.
Just a little bit.
If I had a problem with say my turbo on my diesel Renault Espace,
yes,
could I come to you? Yes. Would you know what was going wrong?
Well,
I don't have a Renault Espace, by the way, in chat. Just to clear
okay, yes. Well, I mean, it depends what the problem is. Is it simply got to do with one of the turbines? The
I do have a
compressor
Renault
turbine,
Scenic.
exhaust turbine.
Do you have a Renault
Has
Scenic
it
in
got-
Australia? Do you have a Renault Scenic?
Has it? Sorry.
A Renault Scenic. Do you have one of those in Australia? Have you ever seen that car? That
Nope,
now that's
no
pure
clue.
class. I don't know if it made it to Australia, but I'm surprised. The Renault Espace did though.
Could I get another invite, by the way? B-Roy
Yes.
has attempted to invite me, and he has failed brilliantly.
Yeah. that's very typical for B-Roy, failing brilliant. Yeah. So you know how to fix a diesel engine then?
Should do. Hopefully
Is it
this
so-
one.
Why is it just diesel engines you're specialising in? Because don't you, they're kind of
More money.
okay, I see. You just
Listen,
work
I'm
smart.
passionate. I'm passionate. Like there are so many cars that I'd like to work on that are petrol fueled, but diesel's more money.
Okay, good. If you
We all got to make a living.
kids out there, if you want to earn shed loads of cash, go into a specific engineering trade that makes you allowed to fix your Renault Espaces, diesel Renault
Well,
Espaces.
to be fair, I believe TAFE teaches you both diesel and petrol, so I think I could be qualified for both. But it depends what I go down, and I'm going down the diesel route because it's more money.
That's it.
You
I think that's a very bold thing. If you want to get a profession, go for the one that's more money. That will set you fair in life. Dan James, you've asked, is F1 Creator Series on tonight as well? No, that's on tomorrow night as normal. F1 Creator Series always on a Saturday night. F2 Creator Series now always on a Friday night. If we're running it, if there's any variation of that, you can check our socials, which are up there. You can go and follow us on all of them. F1 Creator Series on X and TikTok and Instagram. We'll only post updates on F1 on the Instagram and the X, the Twitter, as it was previously known. The YouTube one is just where we post all our highlights, lots of content over there, reaction videos, etc. And our TikTok, we post shorts over there too. So definitely worth a follow on all of those. Jamie, where
Yes?
can people follow you? We might as well plug our own socials while we're trying to fill.
Okay,
Where can people follow you?
It's unfortunately not Jamie Perry. I'm not very straightforward with my username. we're getting there. We're getting there. So on TikTok, JP_M13, all capital letters, so makes it a little easier for you. Instagram, all capital letters, the exact same username, JP_M13, and Twitch, where I stream very rarely, same thing, JP_M13. So literally same thing for each and every social: Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. I upload clips of my commentary. Normally I do little compilations here and there. I've done a few for Creator Series at this point. I try and update it regularly. But sometimes I miss a race or two that I commentate. So, go check it out, see what you think, and give me some support.
Have you ever done a compilation of you fixing diesel engine? That's something that's available? Prime Jamie Perry content?
You know what? I'll tell you what. Just before we start getting into the feature race, which may or may not have an actual starting grid,
We'll see.
my very fantastic father has purchased a Toyota RAV4.
Ooh,
Do you have RAV4s
we
over in the UK?
We do have a RAV4 over in the UK. Soccer
Ooh,
mum's cars,
It
I
is.
call them.
It is. Anyway, it is a 2007 30 series RAV4, and it is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol-fueled 4 valves per cylinder, double overhead cam. Well, it's more an inline 4 specifically if you're looking for the piston configuration. Double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, as I mentioned just before. Naturally aspirated, obviously no turbos if you don't understand. It is all-wheel drive. However, there is an option to make it front-wheel drive, which is just changing the drivetrain ratio. So then the front axle gets 80% of the power, rear axle gets 20% of the power. So I'm getting that, and it's going to be a project car of sorts. Me and my dad's going to work on that, make some changes that are pretty necessary to it. We're going to flush out all the systems, change the transmission fluid, change the steering rack fluid, change the oil, change the coolant, even change the windscreen wiper fluid. And then we're going to get new tires, we're going to put spotlights on it, and we're going to get a roof rack.
Sounds lovely, but because it's not got a diesel engine, you can't do any of that work, right?
Oh, God, I'll tell you, it's super simple, right? One has got glow plugs,
Yep.
One has got spark plugs. One is more viscous, it's thicker, and one is more lean, it's thinner. And that is the difference.
That's like describing mine and Jamie's weights. One's more lean, Jamie. One's not lean, me. I'm Gareth Allen TV, by the way. You can find me on all of those socials up there. Not those links, but on those platforms. I don't think I'm on any others. Am I on any others? If I am, I usually make a silly joke here that I'm on Bebo and MySpace and all those odd ones. They don't exist really anymore. I am on Twitter, which it was formerly a good service. It's pretty rubbish now, but that's why I do my postings. So go and follow me on there. We are going to have a race soon. Now in a practice session. I was actually the person holding that up for so long because I wasn't in spectator.
I mean, if it makes it any easier, we don't have any, rush to get a race underway because there's no F1 on a Friday. So
that's so true. There's no F1 on a Friday, so get over it, everyone. That's happening tomorrow. I do want to say, though, it's a little bit earlier tomorrow. 5 p.m. is when you want to be tuning in. We're just going an hour earlier so we can avoid the qualifying session at 9 o'clock in the real life. So a little bit early if you want to tune in through your normal F1 Creator Series experience. But, of course, we are here for the F2. We have about 45 minutes left of this broadcast, I would say, if we could get this race going. Of course, last time...
On this occasion.
It did hang up a little bit, didn't it? But we'll be going straight into the race. I wonder if we'll have a formation lap. I think maybe not. So I think we should be ready to go, Jamie. I think you should be on the prowl, pouncing as soon as they come out.
If anyone does know me from the Oceanic region, shout out to many servers that have helped me develop over many months. They never do formation laps, so I am well prepared.
Look at this. We only do formation laps at the Creator Series because we hate ourselves. That's typically
there you go.
Our motto at the Creator Series is we hate ourselves and we hate our creators. Of course it isn't. We love our creators and we love ourselves. We're really egotistical. Of course, we're creators. So, Jamie, this is very unhinged podcast.
Listen, I try and keep the ego down. Listen, everyone,
all commentators, right?
No one can say wrong here, right? And everyone in the viewership can agree with me here. All of us have an ego. It's just how much you boast.
Yes, that's so true. And we have boasted about our socials. We have boasted about my knowledge of kangaroos and bears. And we have boasted that the rain is here again. And
Is back.
I'm going to go over to race view straight away because there's every chance we could be jumping straight into the race here. No formation lap. There's every chance there is a formation lap, though. We haven't had any confirmation from anyone. But thank you very much for everyone waiting and filling that. And Jamie, I'm going to throw to you just cautiously here.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's a start. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I don't see any drivers on the grid, but we're back here in OSQ, so we're going to get another opportunity for qualifying, apparently. We're going to reset our OSQ grid, unless I'm wrong, but we'll go along with the flow.
We're doing it, aren't we?
I don't want to be incorrect here, but for the sake of being a commentator and needing to commentate any action that comes our way, Lola Nova, currently in P1, Adam Sanderson, now actually making his way up to P2, really starting to find a bit more stability than what we found previously. He found a lot of time through that final chicane, obviously known as the Wall of Champions chicane, or just the chicane, the final chicane at Canada. However, there are many chicanes, so it's good to specify sometimes. Right now, Adam Sanderson now falling down to P4 as Dragon Files in P2 in the high-tech GP, finding a little bit more momentum, getting the throttle down, changing through the gears, flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, as he then downshifts down to third gear, finally gets the rotation onto the curbs. You can see how much they're struggling using those slick compound tires. They just can't get the grip down. Condon now actually making his way up to P3 as well, using the Roden Carlin Red Bull liveried Formula 2 car, but then we have Trident of Adam Sanderson back up to P3. More drivers tussling for position between P5 and 6 in Chesnoid Gaming, up to P11 with Yorit, now up to P9 in the VAR. More positions continuing to tussle away as Lola Noba looking a bit more settled into P1, a bit more confidence this time round than what we saw last time for OSQ, but now downshifting into the final couple of corners, a bit of a slide, but and a huge kick onto the Wall of Champions. Does Adam Sanderson have the momentum, however? No, doesn't look like it. Lolanoba will keep it. A 140.668 compared to, what was it, a 139? A 138? That was set down originally by you, Pandas. It's now Lolanoba with a 140.668. But my question to you, Gareth, do these times count for grid positions?
Pass. Lolanoba, we'll see, won't we? I guess we'll see very soon. I think so. I don't think there's a way of setting the grid and not doing one-shot qualifying. It's either or. So I think unless there's another red flag, which I sincerely hope there isn't, because we could be here until the end of time, I think these are going to be the results. And it's Lolanoba who's had a complete change of fortune to be first position there. Adam Sanderson second, Sacrifice third.
I feel bad for you, Pandas. He had the most brilliant one-shot qualifying, and all with a change of luck, we reset the session. You couldn't keep the pace that you had before, and MP's Motorsport now finds himself 13 positions lower, P14. And you, Pandas, the American driver, will now will have one hell of a climb back up through the order to try and get himself back onto that P1 position that he saw himself previously. Rain continuing to pour down, as we saw before, and those slick compound tyres potentially will still be used. However, maybe treads will still be available. The glitch can go either way, so we'll have to wait and see which way it wants to sway. Oh, rhyming, there you go. For the Canadian Grand Prix Round 2, Season 7.
You're a poet and you didn't know it. Yeah, thank you everyone in chat. Matty Bobbler, wait, what happened? I thought the race had started. So did we. We were so close to the race starting, and then it didn't start.
I built tension for so long. You should have heard it.
Hello to Miss Rachel Allen as well, who definitely isn't my wife. She has been very vocal in chat that I must notice her, and I indeed have noticed her now. So hello. Can
I also give a shout out real quick?
Yeah, of course you can.
A shout out to no one in the Twitch chat. I'm not dating anyone. Woo!
He's free though. It's over to you for the race start.
Well, 5 red lights. There is no formation lap underway, and the lights go out and it's pedal to metal here for the feature race here in Canada. Good getaway by Lolanoba. Adam Sanderson already wheel to wheel, going on the outside line. Trident continuing with the pace as he now squeezes out position against Lolanoba in Dams Racing. But Dams is not done. Still on the slick compound tyres. No treads anywhere on the grid on lap 1. And Adam Sanderson finding the traction, finding the stability up to P1, and racing now continues as we go further down the grid to P5. F1 Damien loses out position to Dragonfiles in P4, continuing slips and trips for multiple drivers as the rain continues to pour itself both on the visors of the helmets and also to the tyres, to tarmac, and Dragonfiles back up to P4 as F1 Damien now picks up the first penalty of the day here in the feature race. As we go a little further up, Lolanoba P2. As we go a little further down, Hoodie Pete in P10 also up a position.
Yeah, actually it was a jump start for F1 Damien. It was very obvious. He did do the thing where he didn't actually just take it and run with it. He waited as well, which is going to cause him more time. So he's going to have to drive through and then pit for wet tyres. Of course, we do have this glitch occurring, so everyone out there is on basically the wrong set of tyres. They are going to have to come into the pits. Adam Sanderson leading by a second here from Lolanoba, and it's actually F1 Alex who's closer here, but I don't think there'll be any overtaking into the pits here because they will all be going onto a fresh pair of tyres, and this is going to be very, very active pit lane here.
Oh, but you can see Uriah Van Geffen, I'm still learning the name, trying to go wheel to wheel with what looked to be B good in P7, but falls down to P9 and has now picked up a 10-second time penalty. A severe collision with Pondon, and has also potentially spent the pit lane. However, I could be wrong about that. Did look like he broke in time, 59 kilometers per hour set for that car. I know the British do miles per hour, so I do apologize for anyone that needs to use the imperial/metric system. We're just simply metric. Anyway, Hoodie Pete now leads us away in P1. Obviously, no safety car or red flag deployed, so racing does continue. And we actually have more drivers making the decision to stay out on the slick compound tyres. So I do believe in the very beginning, when you do first switch to the wet compound tyres, the tyres are too wet and tread maybe not in your favour, but you're right, Kramer of Hoodie Pete does spin. Oh no.
Yeah, I think the thing is that the pit lane is so busy, it may be just worth going one lap and losing less time, not through the pits and getting stuck behind your teammate, but it's certainly going to cost you time if you spin out and crash, as Hoodie Peter's done. He's going to have a front wing change as well, and it's quite a slow front wing change in these F2 cars as well, as he skips over the chicane at turns 8 and 9.
Well, right now, Luke Howick, 1.3 seconds off, but as we go a little further down, it's actually Adam Sanderson who goes up to P4 because of Lola just struggling on those wet compound tyres, potentially slipped on the rear. Yeah, well, I mean, once you're on those wet compound tyres, firstly, you have to get it up to a certain temperature range. The wets, especially in Formula 2, are very specific on where the right window is. You overheat them, they're completely useless in these conditions. If they're too cold, you just don't have the traction, and we also see Adam Sanderson in the Trident go up to P3. Hoodie Pete is clearly not done, though. On the inside line, is he in? Yeah, well, definitely is. But no, definitely no move. Did think he was going to send it down the inside, but into the pit lane, dives, no shock on that end. And it does look like Adam Sanderson, without any further doubt in anyone's mind, now takes P1. Everyone should be switching to those wet compound tyres now. Lola with a fast lap of 37.375. And now we have one hell of a battle for P1.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Adam Sanderson, Lola they kept their gap quite consistent last time out, but it was Adam Sanderson picking up penalty after penalty, and that left him with a time penalty over Lola. Lola has actually picked up a warning this time out and had a much better drive out of turn 4. He's going to look to the inside of turn 6. And that is not going to open up there. He's very, very hard to make a position there because it is so difficult on traction into that braking zone as well. But look at this. This is going to be a real battle between these two. Adam Sanderson leading away from Lola winning the sprint race. Adam Sanderson winning last week's sprint race. Can either of them get their hands on the feature race win this week? It'll be absolutely crucial for their championship charge.
Absolutely. Lola does currently find himself in P3 in the championship. So with this win, especially with the position of Dragonfowls down in P4, it would push him all the way up to P1. But one thing is stopping him. Adam Sanderson, if he picks up the win, he now takes P1 from the championship leader. So right now, whoever wins this race between these two drivers will completely reshape the leadership of the championship. F1 Alex, by the way, up to P3 in the Prema, just sneaking up there, making sure to keep consistency, and he's not doing so bad at all. Good car control, but looks like Be Good only 56 milliseconds off yours sincerely before having to back out of it, going through the Wall of Champions chicane on the outside line. No, and that Alfa Romeo livery, and yes, I said Alfa Romeo, even if it is Sauber nowadays, it's just a bit too iconic at this point. But on the inside, switches to the outside, back to the inside, and wheel to wheel, two abreast, bit more contact being made. Yours sincerely and Be Good just still can't get the throttle down as they slip around, slip and slide, and the rain is pouring nice and heavy here at Canada. Still not done. Two abreast, still continuing through, and they do not want to give up on position, but finally Be Good able to get the run through that he was looking for, and up to P8 goes the ART.
Yep, and they're still looking to get into each other, and I think really interestingly is that just lost him a bit of time to Dirk Chocolate ahead, 5 seconds behind, and Dirk Chocolate just made a move on Pondon, his Red Bull friend.
Right now, Pondon in P7, obviously making a further position downwards, as you just mentioned, and Patterson now actually up to P12, making a move against the Trident of Chesnoy Gaming, the current teammate to Adam Sanderson, who leads us away here in Canada, only 7/10 separating. However, looks like a send down the inside by Hayden Gillis, or Yorson Silly in P9, but backs out of it, and Be Good's actually got the betterment out of it. Now 1.1 seconds separated between Yorson Silly and P9 to P8 of Be Good, and that ends up working more in his favor. So maybe a send down the inside, or at least a late break that did not work in his favor. Contact to the side pod, potential front wing damage as well, and F1 Alex in the Prema in P3 with a 34.617 takes the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, indeed. Closing in on the top two. And only a second behind, but look at this, Lola up the inside of Adam Sanderson, really looking to put the pressure on here as they head through the Pont de la Concorde, downhill to this technical section. We saw him maybe think about a move last time out. It could very easily end badly, though, if you lose traction out of there. F1 Alex right on the tail of this battle as well. This could very easily become a three-way battle for the lead of this race. Lap 5 of 20. My telemetry is saying 29 minutes is when the rain is going to stop. So to me, the rain is not going to stop here. This will be wet throughout.
No. Right now, I don't have it on, but from what I can see, from the average lap time you get in wet conditions is a 1:32, 1:75. You have a minute 30 per lap time each time you go around the circuit. Zach RC, 3-second time penalty as well. Unfortunate for the driver that now finds himself in P15, 2.7 seconds off Chesnoy Gaming, but obviously focusing on the front at the moment. Lola Nova, P2, 5.5 tenths off Adam Sanderson. But the point I was making before, a minute 32 per lap time. If it's, what did you say, 29 minutes off.
28 minutes now. It's gone down to 28 minutes.
28 minutes.
That changes everything, doesn't it? No, it changes nothing.
It's over a minute and a half. I don't even need to calculate it to know we are definitely not getting dry conditions before the end of this race. Right now, however, Lola Nova only a 10th and a half off Adam Sanderson. Is he going to break late? Just not braking late enough compared to Adam Sanderson, controlling the car all the way through a big slide, getting on the throttle a little bit too early, but he uses it to then straighten the car back onto the straight, flat to the floor, pedal to the metal for whatever the car can produce in terms of power, using the twin turbocharged V6 engines, no hybrids in these Formula 2 cars, and as they continue to rotate, kicking out the rear to get the maximum in terms of time and pace, it is still Lola Nova right on the rear end of Adam Sanderson. Adam still seems to find parts of the circuit where he gains times and then he loses it all over again, and it's going to be a back and forth in terms of gaps and deficit between P1 and P2. Who knows, all the way until the potential end of this race. Right now, Lola Nova just looking a bit more stable through the chicane. Now goes flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, continuing all the way, full throttle, goes to brake and still can't get it done. Defending on the middle of the circuit, Adam Sanderson is doing what he needs to do to keep P1, and Lola Nova now missing out big time. 8 tenths behind against Adam Sanderson, and P1 has pulled away extravagantly here in a rainy Canadian feature race.
Yeah, I think Adam Sanderson, again, just not having the wing of the others, but using those slower corners to be able to pull away from the cars ahead. Lola Nova, look at that, closing in, but it just isn't enough by the end of these straights here, and he's really corked up behind. But, you know, let's go on penalty watch here. Adam Sanderson on 2 penalties, or 2 warnings, I should say. 1 warning for the dams of Lola Nova, and F1 Alex with 0 warnings. So he's doing the best out of this leading trio. A little bit further down, we have Dragonflies. Jorrit Jan van Geffen, he has a 10-second penalty for a massive punt from behind on Ponden going into the pit lane. I'm not sure it did too much damage to Ponden, but them's the wraps for penalties in the Creator Series. Dirk Chocolate doing pretty well here again, in 6th position in the Creator Series, but got to find a bit of time to close up on this battle in front. Now I wonder if it's going to be worth it for anyone to be able to take a second set of wets and see if they can close down any time. I'm not sure what the tyre wear of these wet tyres are on this F124 platform. On F123, the wet tyres in the F2 races did tear up quite dramatically, and you've got to remember, this is the shortest pit lane to pit, so you will lose a bit of time, but it's the least amount of time you will lose.
I was going to mention this as well. When you consider Austria, last season, in Season 6, when we were still on F123, as we also, if you go on to P9 and P8, fantastic battle between yours sincerely going into the hairpin. I'll get back to my point in a second. Contact made. That is front wing damage for yours sincerely. You can see really struggling to apply the throttle now. Doesn't have the downforce that he originally had. Just looking to see if there's any end plate missing, or maybe potentially could be wrong, but there was a bit of a scrape or two to the rear diffuser, to the front end of yours sincerely to Ponden, so don't know what ended up happening in that situation, but as they go into the Wall of Champions chicane, seems to be all leveled out for the time being, but back up near the front, seems like racing still continuing, and Lola Nova really not breaking any sweat at the moment. Once again, closing down that gap in a moment's notice, and I can really start to see your point. Lola Nova has the downforce, he's better through the higher speed corners when he has the grip and traction, but through those lower speed corners, because Adam Sanderson has clearly just got a little bit more of an edge on car control, it's just clear to see as they get into the lower speed corners, Adam's able to flick the car around, use the rear towards his advantage, but it doesn't matter. Down the inside goes Lolanova, not wasting a single second, and squeezes out the Trident. Adam Sanderson's still going to keep it two abreast as they go onto the back straight here, and now continuing flat to the floor. This is action, and it's bringing F1 Alex closer. It's bringing, I was going to say Yorit, but it's P4 of Dragon Files closer. Right now, High Tech, Prema, it looks like Dams Racing and Trident all fighting away in a four-way battle for the making. 4/10 off is P3 and P4. Still not close enough. More squeezing and contact being made. Lolanova down to P2. Adam Sanderson keeping P1 any means necessary. And Trident still desperately wanting that P1. No matter the chances, no matter what it takes. Rolling the dice down the casino straight, and it's clear to see it is any means necessary to gain victory in a wet, slippery, and difficult race here in Canada.
Yeah, it's been elbows out. Lolanova knows that Adam Sanderson has got the measure of him down the straight, so he's trying to be creative. He's trying to get around in various places that may be a bit sketchy, but Adam Sanderson is fighting back, going on that wide line. He's looking for the inside of turn 6, but every time he goes out there, he abseils towards the wall and just about controls it. But this is where Lolanova made that lunge on the last lap. I think he's going to be a little bit too far back here to be able to make that position, but Adam Sanderson, supreme car positioning and defending to claw that position back. But look at that, over the curves, not great. It actually caught Lolanova out. He had to back out of it, and again falling backwards into F1 Alex. But this could end up very, very badly for one or two of these drivers, because they were getting really feisty down the casino straight.
Right onto the curb, and that is the wrong corner line for Lolanova to take, going through into the hairpin and the casino straight. This offers a much larger opportunity for F1 Alex to open the door and potentially send down a move. Still a 1/10.5 off. He has the draft, but he doesn't have the opportunity. Has to break early and stay behind Lolanova. But it's clear to see that Dams Racing is opening the opportunity for moves to be made. And right now, F1 Alex is trying to make it stick on the board and still just can't. 2.5 tenths away, he's closing it down. But Lolanova is still hungry for P1. It is competitive racing right near the front of the field, and Lolanova may just have another opportunity, but that's what it's been. It's been yin and yang. It's back and forth throughout the entirety of this race. We're halfway through, lap 10 of 20, and once again, Lolanova has an opportunity in the same place as we saw before, approaching into 5 and 6, through into the chicane. Eventually, they'll reach the exit of 7, and where there should be DRS, there will be none. Rain continues to pour, and it's all about momentum. It's all about the exit. We saw an opportunity where Lolanova may send it down the inside. He's going to do it again. Going to squeeze out Adam Sanderson, and they squeeze them both wide, right off the circuit. Potential warnings for the both of them. F1 Alex once again shuts down that gap, and now going for the inside line. Lolanova once again tries it, defends the inside, however, is Adam Sanderson. Gets the exit, gets the throttle down, and F1 Alex has never been closer, so it's Dragon Files. He was your previous current championship leader as it stands, but also consider the feature race he won in Monaco. He wants to go back to back. Right now, not given the opportunity. Neither is F1 Alex, neither is Lolanova. Adam Sanderson is blocking any opportunity.
Yeah, very interesting. A very alternate line through that chicane for both of them. Surprised neither of them picked up a warning there. We did see that Adam Sanderson was on 2 warnings. It now says 3 warnings, but I don't know if the nature of that warning was different, because we don't see a penalty applied to his name. Now, Adam Sanderson, really the cork in the bottle here, but he's holding firm through these race laps. Is it going to give the impetus for someone like Jagger Flies, Yotyam Geffen, maybe Be Good to go on a separate pair of wet tyres and see if they can close up to this pack and have that better grip at the end? Dark Viper GT in chat, he said, I do not like pitting for new wets in these races. Of course, losing out big time in the playoffs at Miami in the F2 race that time. He had an easy win, and he ended up throwing that one away and potentially position in the F1 Creator Series. But look at this, Lolanova, where he's been down the inside of Adam Sanderson twice, still right on the back of him, and he could have a good run towards the hairpin. but he's just going to need to catch him out in a different position, because I think Adam Sandler just has the measure of him going into those corners so far.
He's nailed the dry line. He knows where to position the car. He knows when to kick out the rear so he can straighten it up and get the throttle down before any other driver. It's clear it's one of his fastest corners on the circuit. But you mentioned before, is anyone going to come into the pit lane for a fresh set of wet compound tires to potentially get the betterment in terms of grip? I can tell you, if you look down in P16, who's on 0 lap hold? Wet compound tires, and that is yours sincerely for Campos Racing. He has made the move, decided to come into the pit lane and switch over to new wet compound tires, and now we get to answer the question on how much better are new wet compound tires compared to the 9, 10, and even 8 lap hold wet compound tires we are currently witnessing.
Yeah, if we start to see fastest times coming from him, it may make the other drivers think that it would be worth it to do it, but they need to find a good amount of seconds per lap as Pandas picks up a 3-second time penalty for excessive corner cutting, and that is difficult for him. Lolanoba, though, in second position. First is Adam Sanderson. F1 Alex is in third position. Dragonfly's in fourth position. And you really think if Adam Sanderson gets passed by Lolanoba, it could be the floodgates are open. And Adam Sanderson knows that. He's been so difficult to overtake, doing everything in his possibility, in his means, to keep Lolanoba behind. The dams versus the, what is that? Is that the Trident of Adam Sanderson driving? I believe it is. Yeah, I think the Trident of Adam Sanderson is doing a superb job so far. But look at this, Lolanoba again, looking to the inside, just trying to put the pressure on. Get in the mirrors, make Adam Sanderson make a mistake. Because Lolanoba knows once he's got some clear air, he can set some really consistent lap times. And it could be the perfect sprint and feature win for him. But he needs to get by Adam Sanderson. There's no two ways around it.
If you need a little tip, identifying Trident's
badge,
it's
3 prongs,
logo,
it's 3 prongs.
It's a fork. It is a fork.
That's what gave it away. There we are. Do you know what I was really doing? Do you know what I was really doing? I was looking at the Steam logo.
Oh, lovely. Wonderful.
I'm a noob, guys. It's official.
Well, rain continuing to pour down here in Canada, and it is decided to not line up in any way, shape, or form. It seems here at turn number 2 as they continue to kick their way out at Virage Senna, as the corner is known, and then they make their way down towards Pont de la Concorde, as it's also known, and I believe that it's probably a French word, as Canada is half English, half French. But Pondon with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It was actually a good battle happening between him and Luke Howick, but now deciding to maybe switch over to new wet compound tires. Yours sincerely is now down to 4/10, by the way, 2 P15 of Hoodie Pete, so maybe those tires coming in quite well, but also a lot of slip and sliding happening between Adam Sanderson and Lolanoba, potentially getting on throttle just a little quicker to try and maximize what these cars can do, or struggling incredibly that's not English, incredibly hard with their wet compound tires. The degradation continues to increase, and they're ripping and tearing their rubber to pieces.
Oh, I think there's been a red flag. There was a crash in the mid-pack. I believe it was one of the Camposes through the Pont de la Concorde section, and that changing things dramatically. That does change things massively. We do have a red flag here, and that will re-rack the grid. And let's hope this goes okay, because we've had a few issues so far today. Yeah, we are going to have a first restart of the day. Let's say a first proper restart.
Absolutely. Well, this also gives actually a perfect opportunity for everyone to go onto fresh new wet compound tires. No change in position. Nothing will differ in terms of the grid, apart from anyone who may have crashed out or, may change in terms of debris that would have caused them to retire from the race. This is a perfect opportunity for a free pit stop, and it will be a complete and utter fight all the way to the checkered flag. We've got username. 1 second. It's going to come back to me. Lolanoba. I was going to say Nolanoba, and that's not going to make any sense. Lolanoba, who's currently in P2, continuing to fight away with Adam Sanderson and just not getting the opportunity. Every single time they reach that hairpin, it just looks like Adam's able to kick out that rear, straighten up the car, get the throttle down, way before you can even see Lolanoba starting to apply the throttle. It seems to be one of his strongest corners. I mentioned this before, but as soon as you start to reach Sector 1 and Sector 2, the most technical part of the circuit, and you mentioned this before, that maybe he's just running a slightly higher wing. Obviously, you're very limited on your options in F2. It is a spec series. It's supposed to be close. It's supposed to be a fair racing series to show and pretty much showcase the driver's ability, not the car's ability. It's meant to be that way on purpose. And right now, it does still seem to be working in the favor of Adam Sanderson, but all it takes is a single big slip-up. We're seeing slip-ups throughout, the rear continuing to kick, but all it takes is something just a little bit more significant, and all of a sudden, Lolanoba gets the perfect run-through that he needs. And right now, that P2 that he currently has, the P3 that Lolanoba currently has, could become P1 in the championship.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out why we're seeing a black screen here. Is that a little bit of frozen goodness? I'm just trying to work out, just trying to flick through some of our creators to see what's happening on their side. It also appears a bit dark on their side as well. No. So, are we seeing some more issues, Jamie?
It appears the Nürburgring fog has arrived. They have completely cut the cameras, and it's just black now. Well, I mean, a red flag. We now have a black screen. Rather, someone's taking a significantly long time to choose what tires they're going to go on.
Yes.
Or something's gone horribly wrong.
Looking at the creators, I'm just flicking around. I'm looking down here because I've got a laptop here. I don't want to tab out because then it pauses all that goodness. For anyone who's an F1 commentator out there, I'm just tabbing around and looking around, and it looks like everyone's seeing this lovely black screen, which is not ideal for racing. When you are racing, you want to see a screen, you want to see cars on track, you want to see... Now, we did turn the red flags on in the Creator Series. Let's explain this decision.
We did.
Yeah, we turned the red flags on because we are a content creator series. And we wanted the red flags to bring out some content in our games. Now, last week we had Monaco. You're always going to have a few red flags there. It's Monaco. Canada, we've seen one here. There was an incident at the Pont de la Concorde. Will this stay around forever? I'm not sure. We'll see. We wanted to test it out. We wanted to test the waters. And, as we are a creator series, the content creation series of F1, we wanted to give it a go. Now, obviously, this isn't ideal, right? I'll be honest, this isn't ideal. But we will hopefully have a race.
A short race.
A short race. There was about 5 laps, right? 5 laps left, right? So we could do a 5-lapper, right? And
5-lapper.
Let's settle it with a 5-lapper, right? Okay. Someone's asking who crashed. One of the drivers crashed. I'm going to blame it on the Campos.
One of the drivers.
He was in 15th position. That's all I have access to. It was a white car that had crashed near the back. But we'll see. How do you like red flags for the announcers? How do I not like red flags? We love red. He actually said reg flags first. I've just explained.
Oh, red. Okay.
About the red flags. So I'm not talking about red flags anymore.
You know what? Let me explain in the Jamie Perry terms.
Yes,
because Jamie Perry does very explanatory things.
Remember that.
Oh god. I don't want to be known as the kangaroo guy.
Right,
I'm
Jamie,
already Australian. That's already something. Anyway, as a commentator, right? It's you could almost define it as similar to rain. When let's say it's dry and the gaps are extending, let's say there's 2 seconds per car, right? It's dull. It's not much action's happening apart from maybe strategy. And then rain starts to pour. Now, maybe they won't, yell, "Oh my god, it's rain." But if they have a face cam on, you will see a glimmer in their eye because they know action's about to happen, strategy's about to change, and there could be a potential crash that could completely change the aspect of the race itself. And it's the same with red flags. When you consider a driver retiring, they see that glimmer in their eye and they see an opportunity. Wait, we could see a complete restart, a complete change of everyone's tires, a complete reset. Everyone gets a fair go all over again.
Yep.
But
we'll see. We'll see. I'm out of that lobby now. I've been kicked out. Given the boot. Not for the first time.
I am still in it.
You're still in it.
I've got a great looking black screen at the moment.
See, I'm still in a black screen, but it's telling me that one by one everyone is leaving the session.
I may have to do full force quit, and then I'll just
Yes.
get back in the game.
Maybe. Yes. You do that. I'll do something similar on my end. But yeah, we'll look for confirmation for what's going on. I think it's going to be potentially a 5-lap shootout, maybe a 3-lap shootout. Were we lap 15, lap 16? We would have lost a few laps to this red flag, right? Because there's time coming out. It shaves a few laps off. So we're not quite sure there. But yes, so we're going to do an extra formation lap, GTE in order. Fishy coming in with some information. I have no idea if that's reliable. It could be fishy information, if anything. There we are. I'm coming up with all of the dad puns today, in full dad mode over here in beautiful England. Which do you know how when you started the broadcast it was about 2:30 where you were? Was it 2:30? Yeah. But by the time we end the broadcast, it'll be 2:30 where we are.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, no,
do you want to know the time over here?
What's the time now? Is it 4:20? That's my guess.
Yes,
4:20.
you are correct. 4:20 in the morning.
Yes. Right. Okay. Everyone, pray for Jamie Perry's weekend. He is.
That's fine.
He's gonna have a hell of a time fixing those
that's-
diesel engines.
It's fine. it's a petrol. It's a
Is it-
petrol.
Oh, sorry, it's a petrol engine.
James,
Sorry, I forgot
It's
you could
the
work on
RAV4
it.
is a petrol. All right. So I'm gonna explain it in 5 seconds. Super easy.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what a spark plug is? Yes, you've heard of a spark plug,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Yes.
I'm in the lobby
So when
now.
there is a fuel air mixture, right, and the ignition coil gives power to the spark plug, it ignites, right? The whole point of it. Now it's the same thing, but with a glow plug, it doesn't need an ignition coil because the glow plug stays hot. And so when there is a diesel air mixture, it ignites without needing the ignition coil. There is just certain aspects that are missing because glow plugs are already hot, spark plugs need heat, but ignition, and at least the process of ignition and combustion stays the same.
You said 5 seconds.
And
Ian.
that's...
You said 5 seconds. That was longer than 5 seconds. I want a 5-second explanation. Come on.
I tried my
I've heard of a
best.
spark plug. In the words of Jessie J, is it Jessie J? Is it Jessie J, Nicki Minaj, and the other one? Bang bang. Is that a 5-second explanation? Bang bang.
That's a 2-cylinder firing order.
Yes. Right. Okay. So a lobby's being reformed. We love a good old reform of a lobby. We've spoken about all sorts of things. If you've got any questions in chat for me or Jamie Perry, please let us know. We're dying to have them. Pondon asked us which is the best creator with a P, and it was of course Patterson. So we've already answered that one. But Buyer's asking, can I get one of those engines? Depends. If are you looking to engine swap the RAV4, or is it going to have the same engine?
We are not, because that's a lot of money and a lot of time that we don't have.
Right, okay. Your prediction for the championship is a question that's coming from Keko Bomber.
Oh, okay. You've put me on the spot here, but we may as well think about this. Right. Well, I'm going off the notes that I have produced, so the statistics I have produced, and the championship we currently have. Now, right now, we have Dragonfiles in P1, but Adam Sanderson is in P2, and he's looked competitive so far. He clearly has the pace. He has better car control compared to what we see in what we have seen in Season 5 and Season 6, at least personally for me, because I wasn't here in Season 4. I joined in Season 5. It's clear to see there's been a lot of improvements on his side in terms of driving and overall ability behind the wheel of that car. So I believe it's going to be Hayden Gillis. I'm kidding. I believe it's going to be... I'm not going to give you a championship winner.
Okay.
However, I'm going to give you a top 3 shooter.
Oh,
a top
okay.
3 shooter.
Fence sitting. Typical.
It's going to be... Hey, man. It's round 2. Adam Sanderson.
Yep.
Lola Noba. And Dirk Chocolate.
You think Dirk Chocolate's going to be in the mix? The top 3?
Dirk Chocolate.
Really? Yep. Do you know, I was going to say Dirk Chocolate, like out of irony, a bit of a joke. But
yeah, I'm doing it both as irony and seriousness.
Okay, so Dirk Chocolate's in the mix according to Jamie Perryland. I'm going to say...
don't believe a word I say.
Who did you say? Dragon? No, dragonflies. You're discarding dragonflies. You don't like.
To be honest,
Jamie Perry doesn't like dragonflies. Is what I'm hearing.
No, don't do
That's
this. No. Listen, this is the way I'm approaching it. You could say I'm trying to be different.
Yep.
Because when it looks so obvious, you just want to say something different, so at least you give hope to the viewers.
Look
wait,
at that.
maybe
There's always
maybe
careful
they have a
planning.
chance.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So
Being realistic, it's probably the top 3 we currently have right now.
F1. What about F1 Alex? He's been somewhere.
That's true.
He's not been
That's true.
Amazing today, but he was in that top 4 fight. Of course, running
Yes.
P3 before the restart. But yeah,
Yes,
Jan van Geffen said he's happy to do an interview. Is more yapping needed? Jorrit, or yapping is always needed. Let's get him in. He's in. Look, he's in the interview waiting room. Let's get him in.
There we go.
Hello, Jan van Geffen. You're live on the Creator Series channel. How are you doing? How have you found the races today?
I must say that the weather has certainly made it quite spicy. So that's actually been a lot of fun. The sprint race, lap 1, it was unbelievable. I went from P18 to P5. It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Was there any argy-bargy? Be honest. Was it all clean?
No argy-bargy. Like, I drove around everybody. Sorry?
You didn't pod a few people? It was all clean?
No, because I started on the left side, and everybody, for some reason, was completely on the right side, and the heavens opened for me.
Beautiful.
There you go. Does SRC, do they now need to work on a slick tire in wet condition strategy?
I think we do. I didn't know we needed it this much, but I guess now we need an individual extra product line for slick in
the
wet.
lap 1 setup pack. There we are. It's perfect on lap 1. Terrible for all the other laps.
Lap 1 setup pack.
Yep.
Oh yes.
I mean,
Yep.
you did get a 10-second penalty in the feature race for diving into the back of Pondon. We did see it briefly on the broadcast. Did you just get caught
murdering
out?
him?
I think diving was a bit is maybe a bit of a over exaggeration. What happened was I was next to Pondon and he didn't want to get overtaken. So what he did is he released the brakes and even throttled a little bit. And in doing so, he steered to the right as well to block me off, and we made contact there, and the game gave me a 10-second time penalty because of it. So not ideal, but new session.
Yes, a new session. We do have some new rules as well. I'll go over that with the broadcast. Do you know the rules, Jarrett? Have you been briefed on the rules? Have you read
I've been briefed on the rolling start, lap 1, and that procedure.
It's a rolling start.
Rolling start.
Lap 1, you get back into position you were prior to the safety car. End of lap 1, we box and green flag. End of lap 2. You cannot overtake before the start-finish line. Look at that. So green flag at the end of lap 2. It's an old-fashioned F1 2010 style safety car scenario.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Can we just mention, by the way, in terms of what you mentioned on that 10-second time penalty, to sum it all up, just as a summary, you murdered him. You killed him.
No,
you murdered yourself.
I was
as well,
next to him. He drove. No, he drove into the person in front of him and lost his wing on him, I think.
Well, I tell you what, Yo, we are getting back into a session, so we will let you.
I'm looking forward.
Are you looking forward to your 10-second penalty? I presume you're going to crash into someone and get your 10-second penalty back. It's only fair, right?
Yes. That would only be fair. So I think I need to select a different target this time.
I think Pondon. I think do it to Pondon.
And I
actually cause him damage.
I need to step up my game. I need to make sure that when I do it properly, and I don't make the end of the next lap.
Yes, exactly. Right, Yo, have fun with that. Thank you very much for joining the booth.
Good luck.
Yeah, very, very interesting here. So let's have a recap of those rules. It's going to be a rolling start. So what that means is they're all going to start very gradually, and then at the end of during lap 1, there's going to be a little bit of hustle and bustle. It's going to be racing in the terms of people are racing to get back into the positions they were. So everyone knows what position they're meant to be aiming for. We know that it will be Adam Sanderson in first, Lon and Ober in second, F1 Alex in third, and fourth will be Dragonflies. But after that, I can't really remember the whole order. But then, at the end of lap 1, everyone will box. Everyone out there will box for the tyres. They will go off of the super soft and on to the wet tyres, because it's wet conditions, of course. And then at the end of lap 2, that's when it's green, 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 and we will be flying into the first corner, big red flag, and then a huge session reset again.
Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make it to 5 a.m. We're going to get to 5 a.m.
I'm losing my voice. I've had a horrible cold the last 2 weeks. I was hoping for a nice,
Gareth,
short and sweet broadcast.
I'm surviving on this singular can.
Dirk will be happy.
Thing.
Dirk and Pondon will be very happy.
This is the only thing I'm surviving upon.
Well, we do have... You're in a session, aren't you, Jamie? You are in the session.
I am in a session. I'm looking at rain.
Good.
It's cloudy again.
There we are. Look at that. Of course
I mean, what a culmination of everything that's happened. This has been an experience. That's for sure. But a 5-lap shootout, a rolling start, as you mentioned, and I gave some very sarcastic looks to the face cam, because why not? So, these lights will not represent the start of the race. The lights do go out, and it is pedal to the metal, but the pedal is not all the way down to the metal. It will be a rolling start, as you mentioned, so everyone will be kind of lining back into their position, and we have a 3-second.
There we are. I was about to say, how long is it before someone DNFs or something like that, and people get so confused? Like, this seems like a really nice idea on paper, but this is 20 creators trying to sort themselves out in one lap. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah, if this happens, it's a modern miracle.
What we need all 19 drivers currently driving. We need them all to get into a VC, and we just need to hear them shouting. No, you need to go here. Get back.
So, who's doing well here? F1 Alex is only 3 positions out. Adam Sanderson's making some ground on his own position.
Yep.
Without commentating people getting back into position here, just so we're completely clear, chat.
Yes.
Adam Sanderson, there we are. He's in 3rd position. F1 Alex, he's just kind of got into 1st. He'll drop back a little bit. Dragonfly's getting there. Actually, you know what? They're doing a decent job. Well done to our creators. Adam Sanderson's just going to go. No, he's not.
Yep.
Look at this. He's slowing down. Right, okay. So, remember, end of lap 1, they're all getting off of these tyres that they're on, which will be the wrong tyre. They're all on super softs. So they're going to switch over to a wet pair of tyres. And at the end of lap 2, that's when they will go. So Dirk Chocolate making his way back up. I believe he was in 6th or 7th position. Jan van Geppen, he's a bit lucky here. He wipes that 10-second penalty off because of that restart. So he's in a very, very good position. And we could go back to some real chaotic racing here at the end of lap 2.
It's going to be good. And one thing I'm going to note, for the past 2 years I've been a commentator, there has been a single sentence they have heard every single time lights go out. And that is, the lights go out, and it is pedal to the metal for whatever Grand Prix it is. It has been my quote ever since I started commentating.
It's your thing. It's your catchphrase.
Yes. Yep. Now, they get to see my endurance rolling start.
Oh, yes. I'm very excited by that, Jamie. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
But
It's super simple. It's not as complicated as my lights out quote, but it's still a nice touch. Anyway, everyone's going to be coming into the pit lane. If
Adam
someone
Sanderson
picks up
what illegal blocking? Now this is
illegal.
This is the problem, right? This is the problem. We're asking the F1 platform to do something that just isn't set up to do.
Yes.
So
it's confused. It's wondering why have you decided to go half on throttle down the casino straight.
I'm going to guess that if you got a penalty for illegal blocking, we've never ever took penalties off of people. We've never done it.
Oh, Jack.
But if you got a 3-second penalty for illegal blocking, then there may be a chance that we will, for one night only,
for the first time,
break those rules. Right? Okay. Obviously, controversially, we didn't remove the penalties from Sky Z at that championship battle with Tim at Marduk, but this is very much a problem that we've caused by going for this rolling start method. Adam Sanderson was illegally blocking no one, right? The car behind has been instructed not to pass. Same with Pondon, same with Hayden Gullis. Jack Socials, I think he got one as well. He also got a 3-second penalty for being a bit of a naughty boy in the pits. So we've got a 10-lap race. Oh my lord, Lonanoba nearly lost his front wing there. This is, yes. Wow. Pick up the pace a little bit, Adam. You're going too slow. But then look, all these cars need to catch, because it's end of lap 2 that we're going. So... Oh, shenanigans.
So,
Chance of another restart?
Welcome to a rolling start. We get to see this sometimes if there is a red flag that has brought out a potential very long period of time under, those conditions, and maybe it starts to reach that, like, time session where, now it's getting down to the last, like, maybe 60 minutes of racing, so they have to do a rolling start. Or, let's say there's a situation where maybe there's an exception. They just need to do a rolling start. Now we're doing that here for Formula 2, here for Season 7, here for Round 2 at the Canadian Grand Prix, I believe, for the first time ever. So we're making debuts all around the show. And, we're starting to reach we're making F1 distance in terms of stream length now. We're pushing it. We're getting there.
He's had 2 blocking penalties. That'll get removed, I'm sure.
No, Adam.
Here we go.
Green flag is waving. However, normally you go once that final corner has pushed it, that throttle continuing to wave around, and eventually the Trident continuing to control the pace.
They slow down. Is this...
Has pulled the trigger and has not, and that's allowed Lolanoba to eventually get up to P1. It is green flag running.
Been disqualified.
It is go, go, go here in Canada, and I don't believe Adam Sanderson knew we were going racing yet, but we are. It is green flag running now underway. Here in Canada, the green flags continue to wave around. It looks like Bgood up to P4, Dragonfiles now up to P3 in the high-tech GP car. Pondon up to P12. Luke Howick falls down to P13. And it looks like you Pandas now up to P10. Looks like... What?
I think Adam Sanderson's been disqualified. I have a feeling this... he's driving so slowly still that I have a feeling... I have a feeling he's been disqualified.
No, you can't get... disqualified for 6 seconds worth of pen. It needs to be 20
he's just driving so slow.
30 seconds or more.
This restart is a mess. I will agree. Rodri, I agree with you. No. Maraki, this is also peak content.
For all the people, for all the viewers, right? I'm trying to stay as a mere professional. Right?
Jamie, throw the professionalism out of the window. It's gone.
Oh,
come on,
man. I just want to shout at cars. It's what I do best.
Oh my lord. We're meant to commentate on this somehow. Lolanoba has a 4-second lead, right? I remember the old days, Jamie, where we had a thrilling battle. Four drivers within 2 seconds. But Lolanoba's slowing down now. Is there going to be another restart?
We're going to get another green flag.
Have you ever heard the term making it up as we go along? That is exactly what we are doing here. Bgood is in second. Are we going to reorder? Are we just going to get it? Like,
no, Adam's gone. Oh, I thought he was gone for a second.
Adam has the lead now.
And he's pulled the trigger. So, I'm going to go once again. It is green flag running. It is go, go, go. Here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Lolanova up to P3 on the outside line, continuing to go 2 abreast at turn 2. Now you can see going through into Virage Center out of the exit. It's a good getaway from Lolanova, but Dragonfiles was still there for a moment's notice. Had to back out of it on the inside line. Now you can see you're in P5 continuing to try and squeeze out Bgood in P6. Dirk Chocolate in P7 also trying to close off his, I was going to say teammate, the logos look similar, but it is ART in P8. Yeah, Hayden Gillis trying to make up another position on the board. Dirk Chocolate defending with absolute precision as time continues to tick down. F1 Alex now on the outside line. Actually, the inside falls down to P3. It's Lolanova on the outside, really maximizing every part of this circuit to the last inch of racing and tarmac and rubber that it allows it to push it to. Adam Sanderson with a penalty to his name. 5/10 separated between Lolanova and the Trident of Adam Sanderson. I don't even know if this is going to count to the end of it, but it's action at the very end of the day, and that's what matters. Right now, we can also see Dragonfires continue to fall down, and racing may actually be underway now.
I think it is now. I think they are racing. Look, Dirk Chocolate and Hayden Gullis, they're going at it. And there is a position, a fight for 7th position. Patterson involved with Dirk Chocolate as well. We've seen that happen before in the F2 Creator Series, and it's not always ended up well. We've seen it happen in the F1 Creator Series as well. A bowling moment at Imola, I remember from Season 4. And Luke Howick is now in front of Dirk Chocolate. Jack Shosels, he's left the sessions after a DNF. Something went badly wrong for him during that restart. But Dirk Chocolate falling through the order. F1 Damien now around the outside. He's look to the inside in that Invicta racing car. Is he going to put the Red Bull liveried car under pressure? Up the inside he goes. There's going to be a little bit of contact, a little bit of shunting, but Dirk Chocolate just about maintains that 11th position once I could get my words out.
Big slide by Dirk Chocolate, however, it's going to give momentum towards F1 Damien down the inside, but right over the curb. May have even gone over the white line, causing track limit invalidation, and may have been another warning towards his name. No penalty so far, a 10th and a half. Now goes down to a single 10th, looking on the inside line, still wheel to wheel, now two abreast, front to rear tires, and still having the outside line, but is squeezed just a little bit wide. Now gets the kick on the rear, but gets the throttle down, flat to the floor, pedal to the metal. F1 Damien is already up to P11, but can he cover it off? Now you can see Dirk Chocolate back down the inside, sending it, making sure to brake just a little bit later. Dirk Chocolate still in P11. F1 Damien now down to P12. Pondin starting to join the fight. Nearly wheel to wheel out of the exit of the hairpin. Down into Casino Straight. Who's going to gamble? Potentially sending it down the inside again. Still two abreast, but it's blocked out. Is given another opportunity to Pondin in P13. It's 12. It's going to now be 11 for F1 Damien, who slides onto the sausage curb at the chicane, making sure to avoid the wall of champions. And now look at Dirk Chocolate going into the first couple of corners. Hasn't made it just yet, but needs to be careful on where he brakes. He's going to brake late once again onto the next part of the tarmac, and still trying to make a move stick, and still can't seem to do it. Now F1 Damien in P11, and Dirk still wheel to wheel. Two abreast as they go into turn 4, still right next to one another. Rear diffuser to front wing. Dirk Chocolate back down to P12. F1 Damien somehow making the most of it.
Yeah, they've been side by side for basically a whole lap here, and F1 Damien and Dirk Chocolate making the most of the content here in the Creator Series. We have 4 laps of racing, inverted commas, left, and these two are going to go for it for every single point. Remember, points all the way down to 15th position in the feature race. Some of these penalties could get removed. Will they get removed? We will see. Certainly, Adam Sanderson has 6 seconds worth of penalties, all from illegal blocking, but they were a consequence of our strange rolling start approach here. And with 4 laps left, he still has the measure of Lonanoba and F1 Alex and Dragonflies behind. Dragonflies looks like he's got a legitimate penalty to his name, though, so be good. And Jan van Geffen may be in good stead, but look at this. Dirk Chocolate, yet again, looking to the inside, but look at that. Hoodie Pete around the outside of Dirk Chocolate. The man based in Italy in that Premier car, making very, very good progress here.
I had to, have a look at this, by the way. P3-2-1 Lonanoba has taken the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Went down the inside of turn 1, went back round the outside of turn 2, had the momentum, he had the pace, he got the throttle down, and Lonanoba finally sees that P1 position he's been seething for, seeking for, and finally he reaches for it, grabs it with both hands. He has both hands on the trophy now, but can Adam Sanderson deny the opportunity to Lonanoba? We can only assume the penalty will be removed to the Trident. It was unfair on him. It was unfair due to the rolling start, and it must be a reset at least on the fair part of Trident and anyone else who may have got illegal blocking. But as the racing continues, Adam Sanderson will not give up without a fight, and this is where we see majority of his pace come back at the hairpin. He gets the better exit. He gets the throttle down just a split second quicker. And now, with Slipstream in tow, he has the aerodynamic advantage. Now continuing on the outside line. Is it going to be Trident? Is it going to be Dams Racing? Still continuing in P1 is Lonanoba. But look at this chicane exit by Adam Sanderson. It's still almost equal to one another. I almost thought an opportunity was open. Can't seem to get it done. No send down the inside. Lonanoba desperate to keep position. Adam Sanderson fighting with all his might and grit to try and get back up to P1. F1 Alex 8 cents off him. Dragonfiles only 2 cents off him. right now continuing to push the gaps to almost mere milliseconds, but it's still Lolanoba in P1, 8/10 separated, and he's really starting to push the limits on what is possible in Formula 2 cars in wet conditions. Big slide from F1 Alex, the same for Dragonfiles, and this top 4 battle continues to take place, and B-Roy also up to P14 and backing down to P14, sorry, as he continues to fight away with yours sincerely in P13. A little bit of action down there, but the action is all highlighted right at the top.
Yeah, I think Adam Sanderson losing time through that backstretch, we often see it, but really all fell apart when he just put the wheel on the inside of turn 2 at Virage, at the centre chicanes, and that lost him time. But look at this, closing and closing. 4 tenths is the gap. This is going to close even more. He's going to have the slipstream effect down the Casino Straight towards the Wall of Champions chicane, and if he can line up the chicane perfectly, get a good drive out of it, there's every chance he can go for a move on Lolanoba. Maybe not this lap, but he's got 2 more attempts at the cherry to get that position back. He does have 6 seconds worth of penalties against him. They were both for illegal blocking under that bizarre restart circumstances that we had. Whether they're removed or not is going to be absolutely anyone's guess at this moment in time. But we know that Lolanoba is going to feel the pressure of Adam Sanderson. He's fought so hard for that position, and I'm sure he'll be fighting more for those 25 points that would greet him if he was on the top step.
Well, what I can tell you without any doubt in anyone's mind, the racing has been incredible. And my commentary has been simply for TikTok clips. I'm kidding. And Lolanoba in P1 right now continue to try and pull as much of a gap as possible. But Adam Sanderson really trying to pull something back at the moment. 6.5 tenths becomes 7.5 tenths in a moment's notice. Can't seem to get the exits anymore. It's dry. You're right. Will they make the strap? No, you can see it's still a little damp in it. I mean,
it's too late.
No, but it's still damp in certain aspects of it. Maybe this is where Lolanoba can really start making a bit more of an impact, especially at the hairpin, where Adam Sanderson normally makes all of his time back. Right now, Adam Sanderson in P2. This is not only for positions in the championship, this will decide the win here in Canada for the feature race. Lap 9 of 10. The penultimate lap of racing. F1 Alex in the Prema. 2-second time penalty for track limits. It becomes 10 of 10. The final lap of racing, Lolanoba with the fastest lap so far, a 1:31.026, and it comes down to this. It was restart after restart, it was crash after crash, debris, and absolute chaos unfolded. Slicks in wet conditions. SRC will be implementing it soon, I'm sure, but Adam Sanderson has one job in mind, cut down that gap, catch up to Lolanoba, but it doesn't seem to matter. It seems the pace miraculously has come back to him. Now it's wet in dry conditions. It's done a complete Uno reverse. And now it's P1. DRS is enabled. 1.2 seconds. It won't even matter for Adam Sanderson. It's still going to work in his favor. More people picking up 2-second time penalties for track limits due to the fact that it's now dry. The treaded tires no longer getting the traction that they once desired coming into the hairpin, coming around the final couple of corners in terms of track numbers in corners. Right now, Adam Sanderson's going to keep P2. F1 Alex is going to finish P3, but with no penalties to his name and no faults at all. Maybe this is the way we decide it. With a rolling start, with chaos through it all, and fantastic action on display since the very beginning. It's time to call an end. Checkered flag waves, and it's Lolanoba who wins the Canadian feature race in what has been a simply weird spectacle on display.
It's been a strange one, hasn't it? We have had a unique night in the F2 Creator Series. We've had soft and wet conditions, we've had all sorts of game issues, and we've had one of the bizarre, strangest restart sequences you could ever predict in the game. We do know, with Lolanoba being in first, we do know that he's the winner, right? There's no ambiguity around it. He has drove fantastically, sprint and feature. Great races.
Imagine we get an announcement. Your winner is Hayden Gillis.
Then you know something's deeply up. Then the dam of authenticity is well and truly blown if Hayden Gillis wins this race. But fantastic stuff. F1 Alex is in chat as well, just shouting. He's probably raging. Does he have second position or not? We don't know. We'll look for confirmation.
Do we get interviews?
I would certainly like to interview our race winner. Certainly.
I mean, I'd like to interview them just so they could get them from their own perspectives. Imagine, like, as a driver, you're seeing this black screen and you have to constantly look at Discord. We're gonna do a rolling start, right? It's gonna your first lap. You have to stay where you are. You can't race. Then on the second lap, it's gonna go green. Okay, now it's the third lap. Good job. Now go racing.
Yep. It's I'm gonna tag a couple of the management here because I'm gonna ask for confirmation of podium, and I've done it in all caps because that's what I've done. And we're gonna see. But we do see Lolanoba is definitely the man in first there. I think F1 Baikud may have got a podium here. He may have sneaked a podium, certainly. If I just quickly get down the order, F1 Alex is there. We have Dragonflies. This is an order, basically. This is an order. There was some penalties for different moments out there. Let's just go to the incidents line and just take a note of all of those because they may actually be quite helpful to someone deciphering what's happened there. But those illegal blocking penalties that were handed out during that frankly bizarre restart sequence, they felt a bit unfair, didn't they? Adam Sanderson was asked to slow down the pack and then he was given a blocking penalty.
Can I ask you something? Would you consider this race, right? Would you consider this race a type of race that would be?
It's debatable.
Would you? It was a run.
Yeah. Would I consider this race to be
right? Okay. Would you consider this race to be a highlight of the season? Or would you consider this race to be something that everyone should erase from their memory?
I think it will go. People won't be able to erase it from memories. We'll always remember the time in the F2 when we had 17 races in one night, and we came out knowing only one thing for certain: that our winner was Lolanoba. As Jan van Geffen said, a race to remember. I think he meant races plural. Lolanoba, get into the interview waiting room and we will drag you in because we are desperate to talk to you and get your opinion on that race. I have a feeling, Jamie, that not a lot of people. Usually, when you have quite a lot of fun in the commentary box chat, usually when you have a lot of fun, you actually go back out, step into the Discord, and everything is on fire. I think that may be one of these scenarios. I was laughing for a lot of that feature race that we just had then, wasn't I, Jamie?
Yeah. The professional in me just I had to commentate something.
Yeah. We're here to cast what's going on, right? And what was going on was what was going on. So that's what Every time
you took over, I just had to do this, and I just had my face in my palms, and I was just like, "What is happening?"
Well, we do have Lolanoba in the interview waiting room. I'm going to drag him over. He is deafened at the moment, so he can't hear anything. So if you want to quickly slag off Lolanoba, there's no way he'll ever be able to find out. Oh, he's undeafened now. Don't slag him off. Hello, Lolanoba. Congratulations on winning that feature race and the sprint race, indeed. What a day for yourself. What a day for the Creator Series. First of all, how does it feel to be a double race winner?
I so worry about the weather condition because I really don't train for wet, but that's good.
Yep.
But the problem, I think, is the race. So I think that's hard racing, and that's good to see.
Yep.
But I think some moves under braking, the second Adam, I think, move under braking so hard.
Yes.
I think like 3-4 times, but that's good. That's good.
It was hard racing. Yeah, elbows
Yeah,
out.
That's good to see.
Do you feel
That's
fair?
good to see.
Do you feel fair overall?
Yeah, I think there is some bad call because I think I need to pass him. I can pass him in lap 3, and I don't pass before the starting line. So I don't know if I'm wrong. So, but I think I go very well for the restart. But that's okay. I win.
What's your opinion on that restart sequence and what was done there?
It can happen if the problem is the bug, but I think my restart was clean. I don't do nothing wrong.
No,
I think.
But what I'm asking you about is not particularly your restart, because to be honest, we in the commentary box didn't even know when you guys had properly restarted. It was meant to be the end of lap 2, but then Adam Sanderson was going slower for some reason. What did it feel like shenanigans to you, or are you happy with it overall?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy, man. I'm happy. No worry.
If you were P2, would you be happy?
No, but that's racing, so that's the point.
Yeah.
Some people lose for that, for a red flag, for a wrong entry in the pit lane. So that's not my problem. I know. I think I can be angry, but that's racing. The second can push me off the track and destroy my race, but that's racing.
Yeah.
Gareth, I think
it can happen in Monaco. I think I just lost for bad moves in turn 1 in Monaco, but that's racing.
Jamie, you got a question.
I don't blame.
Jamie, you got a question for Lolanova, don't you?
Yeah. It was less of a question, more of a statement. I think that the best way we can sum it up is the win that you have secured today, Lolanova, wasn't a win for a single race. It was a win for the 17 races we have participated in today.
That's good. I win the sprint and the race, and I try to go fast in. I think the next one is Qatar.
Qatar should be interesting.
Yeah, I try to go fast for Qatar.
I believe you're also the first ever Italian winner in the Creator Series.
I don't know. That's good.
Is that something you care about? It's a stat that may not even be true. I'm just guessing.
I'm happy.
This. You're happy? Yep.
I'm happy, but I'm trying to win the championship, so that's not one win is not win the championship. So I need to focus.
That's the aim. That is the aim, isn't it? Well,
so
JP,
one final question. And dead serious about this one as well. Lolanova, do you consider yourself Francesco Cars 2?
Francesco, it's my friend, man.
Oh, he's your friend.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself...
in Italy, all we know Francesco. We say Francesco. We call him Francesco Lesgoski. It's like a friend for us.
Oh, nice.
Let's go ski.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of that in chat, so I very much believe it to be true, or at least part of your canon.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the double victory today, and a great charge for your championship fight.
Thank you, mate.
We will be surely part of the conversation later on in the cool-down room after all of that. But thank you very much for joining, and really appreciate you joining after all the chaos. So I mean, yeah. Well,
you know what? I'll be back real quick because I have a pun I need to make.
Okay, Jamie's doing a bit here, everyone. He's doing a bit. Oh, he's just left me. To be honest, he's dropped the mic. Maybe is what I'm guessing. This has turned into a game of catchphrase, really. I mean, if you're watching at home, Jamie, he's back. Did you drop the mic? Was that it?
No.
Okay.
What I've decided to do. The checkered flag has clearly been waved. Right. Red Bull. Right. You see Red Bull. Yep. They've clearly binned it.
Yeah.
And Red Bull is clearly no longer energized. It's
in the mud.
Empty. And Red Bull have gone in the mud. And any livery with Red Bull in it.
They didn't do well today, did they? They didn't do well.
No.
Yes, I mean that's it.
What?
Do you have any final remarks for today before we can just close off the broadcast and close off what we're over half? And usually when we say, look, hey, we need some commentators for the F2, we say we need you for 2 hours. It's been 2.5 hours. We've certainly run over time, haven't we, Jamie?
Yes.
What time is it over
You need to
there?
get me for an F1.
Is it
F1
5?
broadcast.
Is it 5 a.m.?
It is 5 a.m.
Oh, God. Can we get some W's in chat for Jamie? He's done an amazing job going through the night and commentating that carnage. I'm a massive fan of JPM.
This is what I do. I just show up, I yell at cars, and then when things go badly, I just keep yelling at cars. Anyway, final words. It's 5 in the morning. If it's similar times for you, and I'm more specifically talking to my Australian brother in arms, somewhere in the world, wherever you are, if that's Dubai, if that's South Africa, if that's New South Wales in Sydney. Good night to you guys. I actually don't know what the time is, but good night to you guys. It's been chaotic, and personally, I think it's been one of the best races I've ever been a part of as a commentator, simply because of the chaos. In terms of quality, in terms of quality. Moving on.
It was quantity over quality tonight, certainly.
It's quantity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been chaotic. I've asked for confirmation of the podium. I didn't get one.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've been blanked. I think there's probably a few fires that are being put out at the moment over on the Creator Series side. So let's not dig too deep into that one. Just a final quick recap. Where can we find you, Jamie, when you're not here on the Creator Series? What are your socials?
Capital JP_M13. It's the exact same thing. I'll say it one more time. Capital, all capitals, JP_M13 on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. But YouTube, I barely upload on. The other stuff I'm pretty consistent on. Go follow me. I'm on like 130 followers on TikTok, so we're building. And yeah.
Go and give them a follow for sure. It's well worth it. And I've been Gareth Allen TV. Don't follow me. Don't bother. Do not bother following me after tonight.
Follow him.
Do
not follow me. Listen, do not follow me unless you follow him.
Follow Jamie. Don't follow me. That's the
follow.
big thing.
Just follow both of us, man.
Don't follow either of us.
What?
Right. Before I lose my voice and cough myself to death, thank you very much for everyone who's tuned in. Tomorrow we are back at 5 p.m. UK time, a little bit earlier, 1 hour earlier than our usual timings, just so we can avoid a clash with the real F1. Who knows, if it goes on this long, we'll be hitting that clash anyway, and we'll have to move it way earlier. Let's see. And also, WRC on Monday nights. 7:30, same time as the F2 starts. Yeah, please come along. It's very fantastic to have you in chat there too. That's it. I'm going to close off this broadcast. Thank you very much for everyone who's tuning in. We'll probably go and raid someone as well in a moment or two. So stick around for that. And cheers. See you all soon.